This is your moment. This is the generational turning point America has waited for since 1979, and since the rudderless wars of hubris, my generation, our generation, endured. Don't listen to the noise. Just stay focused. Our commander-in-chief is steady at the wheel. We face a determined enemy, but you are better. But we must prove it every single day. History doesn't care if we're tired, if we're scared, or if the fight feels big. It demands warriors who rise anyway. Peace through strength, the warrior ethos, lethality, unity of purpose, those are not slogans. They're the beating heart of what it means to wear the uniform, that uniform. You think clearly under fire, you act decisively in chaos, you uphold the Constitution, and you uphold our country without hesitation. We are not defenders anymore. We are warriors, trained to kill the enemy and break their will. History is watching. Be the force you swore an oath to be: focused, disciplined, lethal, and unbreakable. We will finish this on America First conditions of President Trump's choosing. Nobody else's, as it should be. And know this above all, President Trump and I have your back, always. Through fire, through criticism, through fake news, through everything. We unleash you because you are the best, most powerful, most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. May Almighty God watch over you, and his providential arms of protection extend over you. Godspeed, warriors, and keep going.
How is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? It is indeed Monday, March 2nd, 2026, and that was the Secretary of War from the Department of War, as of course you guys know, Pete Hegseth, with a little message for our war fighters here, and he had some interesting terminology in there that maybe we'll get to in a minute or two, but let's bring in Miss Lisa and Mr. Mac as we do, of course, have episode 198 of Hold the Line. And Miss Lisa first, we might be at 200 plus. I don't know when we started numbering them, but we're coming up on that 200. So about 4 years of this particular show, and I think we've done a great job. You and Mac have been an awesome addition to this show, so I really appreciate you guys, especially Lisa staying up till I think it's 2 a.m. right now for her, and for Mac always giving his time as well. So thank you for that, guys. And Miss Lisa, welcome on in. How are you doing? What's going on? Anything new?
Nothing new at all. No, nothing. Not a lot happening. No. Too much happening, really. And thank you for having us as well. It's very much appreciated, especially the amount of time that you dedicate to this. So I don't mind staying up.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And Mr. Mac, same for you, brother. Almost 4 years here. Great show, which was originally Wednesday, and we kind of moved it to Monday here, so we can actually do a little bit more digging as we go. But how you doing, brother? How's your comfort level? I think I know, but I always like to ask.
I'm doing great. Loving what's been going on. That's a great speech by Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, and looking forward to talking about that. But yeah, thanks again. As always, for having us. Never expected this. I remember one deleted episode when we first started, that before Hold the Line, that was hilarious. I know you guys are what I'm talking about.
No, the only one I've ever deleted afterwards was like, no, we can't let that, because if you remember, dude, and we're not going to say any names because I think that person is deceased anyways at this point, but like literally right after the show, Mac messaged me. He's like, dude, I think that dude was like spinning like numerical spells and stuff on I'm like, yeah, that was weird. And when we asked him, dude, do you know how old like JFK would be, like the original? He's like, I forgot what he said. Like, yeah, 108. I'm like, yeah, that video is gone. But yeah, fun times. We live and learn, right?
Yeah, but we've covered a lot of things, and it's kind of circling back, but we're going even deeper and connecting more dots. So I'm looking forward to what truth is unraveling in the future here. But let's get to the show and start covering. Thanks to everybody that's been tuning in. If you're new, this is a live show. We don't, pre-rehearse this or anything, and shoot from the hip and discuss things in depth as fast as we can. Let's get
in rapid fire order. And thank you to G. Westbury, who dropped a gifted subscription over to the channel. So I do appreciate that, G. Westbury. And so, of course, we're going to get some, well, they're killing people in the streets left and right. And let's just play this. And I'll turn it down a little bit here. We got a little... I have to turn it like way down, maybe get a copyright strike here for some Indian thing or whatever. But we have people dancing here. And then, of course, you're always going to have two sides of the coin, right? You're going to have, oh, it's a horror show. It's horrible in there now. And I mean, that guy's looks like an Israeli flag right there. But women throwing burqas off. I don't see many burqas here at all. That's very interesting. I mean, what do you guys think of it? And let's go with Mr. Mac first here. I always do ladies first, and you always insist upon that. But we're always going to have two narratives out here, right? Of the negative Trump and the positive Trump and this, that, and the other. And so we heard people, and we showed it the other day. As soon as they announced that Khomeini was dead, it was fireworks. I mean, generally, Mac, what do you do fireworks for? Not like a sad occasion, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's tyranny, really. I think his death just freed so many people that I wasn't really aware of it. I knew that it was going on, but just the elation globally, and also, if you notice, it's also the Israelis cheering with the Jews cheering with the Muslims. This is stuff that Lisa used to we covered on the show that's pretty biblical. Going back to biblical times, and I'll let Lisa cover that stuff. But I love seeing all the celebrating, the Trump dancing, just beeping in the streets. Everyone's going crazy. They're tearing down signs, and I think the world is finally seeing Trump's true vision of just global peace. I know it's been quite a fight dealing with the fake stream media and stuff like that, but both sides can't defend it. They can't criticize this. If anybody's been paying attention, the left has been praising President Trump, praising Netanyahu, and then you have the right side, the people that were hating on him. I think even Tucker Carlson tried to make a jab at him, and just the public's not having it. It's amazing. This is great times we're living in.
Let me turn this one off here, and I know Lisa's gonna love this one. Let's play this. Let's play this, and then we'll get Lisa's comment on the whole scenario here. But all right, here we go.
President Trump is acting like an international gangster.
Keep it gangster, dog. Keep it gangster. Keep it gangster, dog. Keep it gangster. Keep it gangster, dog.
Have to cut that one out later on, but I mean, he kind of is, right? I mean, he went over and he snatched Maduro. Well, first off, let's start it correctly. He went over there and bombed the facilities in Iran. Then he came over and he snatched up Maduro. Whether you want to say he's the legitimate president there or not, whatever, he's generally recognized as running that country. We snatched him up. Then we went back for more over in Iran, and I'm never going to downplay, because we do have loss of life on our side and the other side. I'm never going to downplay that. But nobody's done a damn thing about it, Lisa. Like, there's no international, group of, oh, this country, this country, this country. We're going to get these guys back. So I think, if I'm not trying to be coy here, but I think there might be something more to what we're seeing behind the scenes, if you know what I mean. And I know both of you know what I mean.
Well, I think I know what you mean. I think that with Iran, the people of Iran, given that the country was so different before somebody came in and just changed things almost overnight. So they got rid of the equivalent of monarchy, because at the time, money corrupts, so there was some corruption. And that was used as an excuse to kind of bring in a cleric, and he was only a cleric at the time, with some ideas of, well, we can sort this out. And to sort this out, they kind of used, first of all, it was like, well, you need to act in a certain way. They didn't really talk about religion. And then they made it kind of a religious obligation of how people should act. And then included things like you need to snitch on your neighbor. So, like somebody not wearing a hijab, so a scarf, and they would be snitched on, maybe thrown into prison. I know one girl was killed. And so it was they came in very authoritarian, but also like a complete dictatorship. And then they also silenced people. So they brought in the kind of quote unquote law enforcement, which was a bit more than enforcement. A lot of people thrown into jail. Anybody that kind of disagreed, or even said that they disagreed, was thrown into jail. So, and at that time, the Iranians were very, their culture was amazing. So, like the equivalent of Wheel of Fortune would say, and you've won 2 weeks in Iran. Yeah, that's how it used to be. And then that changed overnight. And Ayatollah Ali Khamenei came in, and he's been in for something like 47 years. And then you had people taking advantage because it is a very rich country. They completely changed the culture because they were, like their religion was before Christianity, and one of the first monotheistic religions. So they were Zoroastrian, I think that's how you pronounce it. And, it was said that when in the Bible, where there's, I don't know, Jesus Christ disappeared from about the age of 12 or 13 to the age of 30, it's said that he traveled around, and one of the places that he went was there. They've got a really, really old culture. And all of this kind of changed. And the people have been, a lot of people had to leave. They couldn't survive there anymore. And it just completely changed. And then you've got people like Obama giving them 1.7 billion, lying about it, saying that he didn't, supporting them. They've supported a number of terrorist groups what have been named terrorist groups like Hezbollah, maybe Hamas as well. So supporting terrorism. And I read, I can't find it, but in December 2025, the Iran Daily posted an article about them developing biological warheads. So they'd done the tests from 2020 and found certain chemicals in the warheads. And then last year, they posted an article in the Iran Daily, by the way, to say that they've developed biological warheads, December 2025. I wasn't aware of that. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to find the article, and I'm telling you, like, they've just got rid of it. But December 2025, and it's called the Iran Daily. So Iran published this information, and you know how hot they are on silencing people. They put this out publicly about the biological warheads that they had developed.
Damn.
Interesting. And America is the enemy. Yes, America and Israel. So I'm just gonna add that little bit, and I'm gonna leave it there.
Wowza! Yeah, I actually don't even remember seeing that, but however, looks like Fox News covered it anyway. Let's see what we got here. Okay, watching live. Sorry. Iran reportedly developing chemical, biological missile warheads as protests spread over collapsing economy. Revolutionary Guard accelerates unconventional missile work as protests spread over the regime's handling of the economy. Yeah, it's that's 25 there. And I wanted to bring this to people's attention too. I don't know how far I have to go back. It's not very far. Let's see if we got it here.
It's hard for me to tell you what the U.S. would do because that's
Okay,
a
where am I at
policy
here?
decision that'll be made at the White
What
House.
is
not at
playing?
the
Because that's not playing.
ambassador level in Israel.
Wow.
All I can do is point to you what the president has
Wow.
said
You
repeatedly.
see? Oh my God. I don't even know what's playing.
Consistently has said Iran is never going to
Dude, this is bananas.
Not going
Let's
to have
see.
a nuclear weapon.
Ding, ding,
He's
ding,
continued.
ding. All right, that's what. Whatever it was that one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a weird one for me. Sorry about that, guys. It just started playing literally by itself. But as he mentioned in the drops there, he mentioned at the end, Godspeed to our war fighters, right? And so I don't know why this never comes up here. It stays up. But in our favorite drops here, we happen to have 34 posts talking about Godspeed as well. And if you see the first few are like militarily connected as well. So just kind of put that out there 34 times. So if we look up our favorite post of number 34, or one of my favorite posts anyways, that goes back to, over the course of the next several days, you'll undoubtedly realize we're taking back our great country from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. And so kind of to echo what Lisa was saying a little while ago, I think I played it yesterday or whatever, and I'm not going to bring it up or whatever, or play the video here, but it's Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And we've talked about this many times before. Of an economic hitman. So this guy right here, guys, and of course I spelled it crappily, but this video right here, and I'll drop it in the links for the chat, this is exactly what they do. And I'm not going to get another copyright on this, but where was one of the first targets in which we did this stuff? Oh, Dr. Mohammed Mossadegh. Ah, interesting. And well, what did they do with him? They had Kermit Roosevelt, which I think was a cousin or something like that, go in with like $1 million and start basically what I would say is a color revolution. Just start, oh, this guy's no good. And what did he want to do? This guy, this man of the year, guys. Remember this stuff too. He was the man of the year, and they went in with $1 million and overthrew this guy. He had the notion that he wanted to, let's give back to the people of our country. And we'll let them, get the earnings of the oil as well. And that some people that are way at the top will never have that as well. So this is just, a thing just to kind of prove what they've been doing for decades, Lisa, right?
Yeah, especially not the British. We don't like that. We set up things like the Raj, in India to control India and things like that. We don't like it. I'm using the royal we, by the way. I don't really mean all of us.
The royal we, yeah. And, we have, differing things. And this right here, thankfully on this one alone, there was no deaths occurred here apparently. But RDoc had dropped this one really early this morning, close to 6 a.m. At 11:03 p.m., March 1st, 3 F-15E Strike Eagles flying in support of Operation Epic Fury went down over Kuwait due to an apparent friendly fire incident. And they said basically all 6 aircrew ejected safely, have been safely recovered, and stable condition. But we do know that there are losses that we have on our side. Of course, in a war, nothing's ever gonna be completely clean. But okay, buddy.
There's actually kind of a humorous video of the Kuwaiti, I guess if that's how you say the person from Kuwait.
Yeah, Kuwaitis.
Video recording him rescuing basically the parachuting soldier, and he captured it all on his cell phone.
Really?
He's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, I'm safe. I'll find it.
I'm safe. I'll find it. And so we're having also attacks on certain areas as well. We're hearing embassy talk, and I'll probably pull one up in a little bit, but fire and smoke rising from the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh. So this is stuff that is close and what is going on like as we speak here, guys. So 12:45 Israel time, multiple Iranian missile interceptors over Tel Aviv captured on Fox News. And so they have their golden domes, and they're reporting 2 days ago, oh, there's all sorts of things getting through. And then we start seeing, you guessed it, lasers, guys. Laser satellite stuff was going on here.
Freaking laser beam.
So that woman was correct on some of these things, apparently. But yeah, it's getting nice. And so I also went through some archives here, and I think I just got to transfer all these over here. Basically went through some archives to see, what has President Trump talked about regarding Iran for years. And you guys guessed it, he has not. He's had the same opinion for years. Let's just put it that way, right? So people that would say he's doing something for one particular country or whatnot. Big threats on my life by Iran. Remember, this is 2024, guys. I mean, has anybody tried to kill President? Oh, that's right. Big threats on my life by Iran. The entire U.S. military is watching and waiting. Moves were already made by Iran that didn't work out, but they will try again. Not a good situation for anyone. I'm surrounded by more men, guns, and weapons than I have ever seen before. Thank you to Congress for unanimously approving far more money to Secret Service. 0 no votes. Strictly bipartisan. Nice to see Republicans and Democrats get together on something. An attack on a former president is a death wish for the attacker. What do you think of that guy? You think he was setting the table back then as to what was going on here? Because he went on here in a later post. I believe this one was after. Go ahead, Lisa, if you want to jump in.
Well, wasn't there an announcement in 2024 that the Iranians were looking to kill President Trump on American soil using sleeper cells? I think I do remember that.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's the things that some of these people known has been bad. You got that back down there, Mac?
Put that link of the pilot getting rescued. But I believe Trump had made a kind of a humorous quote today, saying like he had killed him first. Well, I got him first.
Yeah, he tried to kill me twice.
Clip.
Yeah, I'll pull it up for sure. I'll grab it so we have it for sure. And the weirdest part, let me pull this up for everybody to see as big as we can. And I think this administration, of course, will be far different than, say, old administrations. We had a pilot went down in Serbia many, many decades ago, and the Serbian people protected that person, that pilot. And guess how we, as a country, repaid them? Well, we waited till I think it was 93 or 94 or whatever year it was. Bill Clinton bombed Serbia on Orthodox Easter. So back then, that's how they repaid their good deeds. So hopefully, and I believe the President Trump's administration would not do something like that. But here we go.
You're fine? Really? You need
Sounds like a
something
woman.
to help you? No problem, you're safe. You're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us. Everything perfect?
Is everything going good?
You're fine?
Max, everything going good? Well, except for the part where I lost my plane, but yeah, everything else is going okay at the moment. Wow. That is bananas.
Yeah, and it's a woman pilot too. I know people are gonna have fun with that one.
Figures. Women drivers, Sorry, Lisa. No.
But it's
Yeah,
pretty,
you better be.
but it's really cool seeing the Kuwait's saying, hey, we're safe, we're here to help.
And thank you. Thank you for doing this. And so there clearly is a person that's thanking for help, and they went to go assist as well. Got this other one too from President Trump. One of a couple of truths from today I had from him, and this was interesting too. I mean, I just don't know how certain people get a push that they get on social media to get a certain voice out, but other people kind of get kicked in the gut. So I'll explain in a second what I'm talking about here. President Trump, if I didn't terminate Obama's horrendous Iran nuclear deal, the JCPOA, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon 3 years ago. That was the most dangerous transaction we have ever entered into. And had it been allowed to stand, the world would be an entirely different place right now. You can blame Barack Hussein Obama and Sleepy Joe. Thank you, President Trump. Let's see. Payback, But yeah, so he's talking about the Iran deal, right? And I did a little poll yesterday, and I said, hey, do you guys think it was a good idea that they got rid of the Iran deal? And I think it was everybody in the chat said, yeah, yep, yes. And then we got these other momos out there, like the Groypers, who are putting videos out saying, oh, and then Trump went over there and he stopped that Iran deal. What a horrible thing. And I'm thinking, really? Like, oh, it's just because Israel wanted it, and they're always everything anti-Israel. But I just find it funny, Lisa, and how how these idiots get nearly 250,000 followers to sit out there and trash Trump all day. I don't get it.
I was going to say that, Europe was against Trump increasing the sanctions on Iran when he first got into office. If you remember, I think there was Macron, Theresa May was the British Prime Minister at the time, and Angela Merkel, and they all rushed over there. And I don't know if Ursula von der Leyen went, I'm not sure. But maybe she spoke to him. But, they didn't want him to increase the sanctions. In fact, they wanted him to lift the sanctions. That's because they'd all done deals, because they were all going to get paid off. Mm-hmm. Because remember, when they did the change of the regime, however many years ago, it's the British who were in there who wanted the oil. That was one of the reasons why the regime change happened. But it seems that they were all in on some deal. I don't know what it is. But what we do know is just before the US and Israel hit Tehran or Iran, the Chinese flew in 6 cargo planes just before they had a moratorium on the airspace, using the airspace, just before. And it seems that they provided some kind of radar system, but it's not, I don't think it's absolutely top notch, but it's some kind of radar system. And they also published an information kind of or advert, which shows the position of all of the American facilities around the Gulf. Exactly what they are, where they are, pictures, everything. So, I think you played an earlier video. Did you play an earlier video? No, you didn't. But anyway, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. So it seems like China, this is a play that's going on like an undercurrent that Trump is kind of dealing with China, because I think China get about 15% of their oil from Iran. So even though there were sanctions, remember how there was those, what do they call them, shadow ships or something like that were going out?
The ghost ships, yeah.
That's it. And they were delivering oil to China, which China really, really needs so that it can do its manufacturing. Yes? And 15% is actually quite a lot. And Venezuela, they provided about 4% of China's oil. So you can kind of see what's going on. But, China haven't stepped in. They're not going to step in for various reasons. But I just think that's an interesting point there that they put out. I'm sure I've got a copy of it, thanks to Melzy K. Sure, I've got a copy of it. And it just shows where all of the American munitions are, bases, what they do there, everything. They put it out just recently. Yes. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Ugh.
And I did find that, Mac. So if you want to make a comment, and then I'll play this for you. I found that.
Yeah, you remember when Trump said that to China they're gonna have to figure out how they're gonna get tariffed, and Lisa
Yeah.
just made a point. They probably back then were like, we don't need oil. Well, guess who? They need oil now. So I'm sure it's gonna work out just in a
Absolutely.
very good peaceful manner. There is a
I mean,
video. Real quick, the
Go on.
video I would post in the bottom of the chat. I think it gave a pretty good a synopsis of what was going on, and I think it's only a couple minutes.
Okay.
Good, Lisa.
Yeah, drop it in.
It's about 3.5 minutes, Mac.
Oh,
It's
okay.
long. It's long.
We'll see
But,
what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting that I think that's an undercurrent. I don't think it's just about Iran. Yes, I think this is about partly getting China in check, because they really need that oil, like really, really, really. They cannot function without it. And how many millions of barrels did you get from Venezuela to sell, Mike?
300 million, was
50
it?
million?
30 million,
80 million?
300?
I don't know how many it was,
It's a
but
lot.
it was a lot. Yeah. So you've got a customer there, you know? Because where are they going to get this oil from? They're not going to get it from anywhere else, obviously. But anyway, I just thought that was an interesting point to note about them flying in the 6 cargo planes just before the air embargo, not moratorium, embargo. Yeah. And then putting out the infomercial, but they haven't joined in.
Very interesting. Let's play this one, and this is, it's a great clip, and it's a great comment, and it's actually true. Let's hope it's loud enough without the helicopters in the background. Let's see. Long day. Biden would have had 2 naps, or probably 2 sleeps by this point. Long day coming in. All right, come on, let's get you over here, buddy. Come on. The heck is it?
What are we looking for?
I thought that was the clip. I just had the clip where he was saying, I got him. I got him before they got me. I think he maybe said it here where I passed it in front. I got him before he got me. They tried twice. Well, I got him first. That's exactly the quote. Interesting, though. They didn't show it on that one here. Signing the Oval Office. He doesn't slow down. Look at that, guys. 8 a.m. executive time. 11 a.m. Medal of Honor. 1:30 p.m. signing in the Oval Office. 2 p.m. policy meeting. 4 p.m. policy meeting. What time do you think this is right here? I mean, Joe Biden would have been, what was he capping his days at? Like, wasn't it like 10 a.m. or something like that, or noon or something like that? He was done like super early, like every single day. So this dude has been working hard for us. And again, you have to remember, guys, he's not the, in my opinion, he's not the guy running everything, making every decision out there. He is the ringleader, or the spokesperson to this operation. And then we have to worry about oh, Mac, let me take a look at that comment, that video here in a second. I'm gonna play a clip right here, guys. What do you make of this? And did you think it would ever be any different? And I'm gonna take a look at that clip now. Here we go.
Mr. President, unleash the American military with Israel on Hezbollah tonight. Finish these bastards off. They have American blood on their hands, and it shows you how desperate Iran is to have to rely upon Hezbollah. We have a chance here not only to take the mothership of terrorism down, Iran, we also have a chance to eliminate one of the most lethal proxies in the Mideast, Hezbollah. Mr. President, do it, and do it now. They're weak. We can take them out, and we should take them out. Mr. President, unleash the American military with...
The only thing that's missing there is like the saliva coming out of his mouth. And I think he may be aroused at this point. Like, seriously, the dude is just, oh my goodness, never enough.
Who's doing Trey Gowdy's hair nowadays?
He is his grandmother. Oh my word!
Well,
but yeah, what do you think, Lisa?
Lebanon have actually banned Hezbollah. from doing any attacks from Lebanon just recently. I'm pretty sure that they have.
Ooh, and what did Israel do?
So there's
yesterday?
no real. There doesn't seem to be much support for Iran. Yeah.
And you know why? It's because of the Abraham Accords that they've had been working on so hard, and they put it in place. It's amazing.
Really?
The amount of the pre-thought planning on this was immense, because Iran eventually just started attacking everyone, and there was systems in place to defend the countries that were attacked.
Interesting.
Pretty amazing.
And this was another one too here, Lisa. We had they were given announcements. They were given basically saying, hey, Israel apparently said to Lebanon, like, hey, get all your people out of this one area here, essentially. Moments ago, massive explosion reportedly hit Beirut's southern suburb. And this is what I want people to hear for a second, because I don't know what the hell's going on with some of this stuff, but let's see if we can hear it in here. Clearly, you can hear some. Booms, right? So we hear booms, and I bring that up to say, you know, I don't know what was happening on the day of when we were told, but I was like we were talking about before the show. I was watching these feeds, and I asked people in the live streams, like, hey, did you guys hear the booms and see anything? Like, what was going on? And they were like, yeah, go 6 or 8 minutes back. And so I go 6 8 minutes back, and I watch these feeds cut out. And if you notice, the pixelated Israel's very interesting there, but. Again, it's 30 seconds. I'm not going to play it for you. I played it yesterday. But again, there's no sound whatsoever. And you can hear, well, I'll play a couple seconds so you guys can hear. You can hear everyday things going on. People driving down the streets, birds whistling, you know, whistling, doing their things, playing their songs. But then all of a sudden you see these feeds go off, but you don't hear anything like you heard in that last one. Ba-boom, crackle, crackle. Like, listen. And this one's going to go off first. Ding, right? And then so this one goes off, and then this one is the panorama of the whole sky of Iran. There's no flickering, there's no nothing, and all of a sudden all those feeds went off. So I don't know what that means, and maybe everything was just done ahead of time. But you know, now we're getting stuff on the ground from, you know, somewhat recent stuff that there are booms. So I don't know if they were trying to push a narrative on that night, but it's very possible.
Right before I think if this is right before they attacked, I think they cut out all their feeds and communications.
Yeah, this was like 2:30 in the morning at the time where I recorded this, maybe 2:45, and I went back and I kept going back just to see when these feeds went, and then there was nothing in after it. And then you have this weird noise that comes out of nowhere. It's like a generator, which maybe it was just a generator nearby that turned on, and I'm like, it sounded like they were trying to make it sound like a chopper coming in or something like that. So I don't know, but a lot of weird stuff. And you know, again, I was given that text message with this feed. Be ready at 10:45 that night. So that was interesting to see as well. Okay, moving on. Mac, or at least any comments you want to make? I don't want to kind of move on from that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give you guys a little feel-good story, a little short one here. I thought this was cute as well. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. 104-year-old. I think he's a veteran. I think it says, let's see.
So at 104 years old, how many presidents have you lived through?
You haven't kept count.
You haven't kept count? And who was your favorite president of the United States in your long life?
Did not tell her. My mom did not tell her that I was.
Trump is your favorite president?
And that was my
wow.
Did not tell her.
Look at that look in his eyes. Look at the look and the love in his eyes. What a sweet elderly man. 104 years old, guys. That is just amazing that he's, you know, running around, kicking around, and lucid to the point where he knows who a great president was. 26 presidents, guys, and he picked Trump. So that was very cute, I thought. Very, very cute. Oh, Mac, Lisa, actually, I had one more too. I didn't go. The only ones that they were showing me here, when I went back to look at President Trump's Twitter, and I put in Iran deal. I thought he spoke a lot more about Iran, but he says, Iran-backed Houthis terrorists have been decimated by the relentless strikes over the past 2 weeks. Many of their fighters are no longer with us. We hit them day and night, harder and harder. So as you guys see, they can do things here in 25 in March, and then they've been attacked, but yet apparently they still need to be crushed and taken out even further as well. Now, Mac, that video that you dropped in the chat there, I think we should play a little bit of it. The only thing that's concerning me is this dude going to give me an issue right here? This one, right? Let's see. I think maybe we'll play like the first minute of it or so, because I think it definitely gets a lot of the stuff out of the way. But very interesting take on it, and kind of what you were saying about what you both were saying about the oil and whatnot to China. So let's take a listen to this for a little bit.
Why China and Russia won't fight for Iran. For years, Iran believed it had powerful friends, Russia, China, but as US military pressure intensifies, Tehran is discovering something uncomfortable. Its allies are transactional, not loyal. Since 2018, after the United States exited the nuclear deal, Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, pushed a look east strategy. The logic was simple. If the West isolates us, we pivot to Moscow and Beijing, and Iran followed through. Joint naval drills in the Gulf of Oman, missile cooperation, oil sales to China, military coordination in Syria. On paper, the partnership looked strong, but when it comes to actual war with the United States, the support shrinks dramatically. This week, Russia and Iran held a small naval drill in the Gulf of Oman. China plans to join future exercises in the Strait of Hormuz. Now compare that to US deployments. Carrier strike groups, long-range bombers, advanced air defense systems, weeks-long sustained strike capability. US officials say Washington now has the option of launching a prolonged air campaign, not just a limited strike like the June Midnight Hammer operation. In contrast, Russia's helicopter carrier left immediately after the exercise ended. So why won't China intervene? China is Iran's largest oil customer. Roughly 20% of the world's oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz. But Beijing's priority is stability, not confrontation. Aligning openly with Iran against the United States would damage relations with Washington, risk sanctions, endanger Gulf economic partnerships, disrupt global oil flows. China's approach is clear. Preserve oil access, avoid direct conflict, position itself for influence if Iran's leadership changes. If the regime collapses, Beijing will secure energy flows, not defend Tehran militarily. And what about Russia? Moscow has benefited from Iran. Drone cooperation, sanctions evasion networks, regional coordination, but Russia is calculating carefully.
Very well done, and I wanted to stop this in a place where we could see the whole big map here. So sorry if I'm giving anybody a seizure out here. The way they edited this video is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was a little too much. I was like, what is going on?
Did I take some acid? There we go. Did I take some acid this morning I'm not aware of? But yeah, it's an interesting proposition, right? You do have, you have Iran over here, and then you have China's right there, and Russia's right there, and then here we are coming all the way across, and of course we're using some of these proxies as, lily pads to, jump off of essentially, but they're not going to be willing to go in there because they don't want the confrontation. And here's another thing that I think that this channel that put this, I think, very well put together presentation through didn't take into account, which is, what was the post, guys? It talked about, and I have to remind folks that when the team used to make posts and they said, oh, what if Russia and the United States and China happen to be working together, something like that with a question mark. I have to remind folks that, essentially a lot of those posts that have a question mark, you can end with either a period or an exclamation point. So I think behind the scenes, what may be going on is we may be having, as we've been told, us here and China and Russia have maybe doing some things behind the scenes. And now if you had Russia, China, and the United States together, who could ever, step up to go against us militarily? I don't think there's no combination of countries that could ever mess with those three. So we don't know verified 100%, but we were told in the drops that perhaps they were working together.
Hey, Space Shot, check out the what Putin says about Israel and I think the situation in Iran. It's interesting and goes along with what you're saying.
Why didn't they help them with okay, let's see. Do we have a translator?
It was June 2025.
All right, let's see. All right, so I'm just gonna cut it down. I'm just gonna read it here. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that almost 2 million people from the former Soviet Union and Russian Federation live in Israel. It's almost like a Russian-speaking country today. And we, of course, always take this factor into account in modern Russian history. This is the first thing. Second, okay, I think he didn't get to the second thing on there. But yeah, there's 2 million people, 2 million Russians living in Israel. And, they do have that, Russian Jew heritage that people absolutely do have. So they don't want to bomb Israel, but are they going to side with either, you think? I mean, how are you taking that one, Mac?
They're going to side with Trump.
I mean, I believe so.
I think Trump's kind of showed off fairly well the past couple months the capabilities of our U.S. military and what Trump is actually his true intentions are, and world peace, and stop the trafficking, save the children. It's becoming more prevalent every week we have this show. So let's keep it going.
I wonder what Zelensky's going to do to try and get attention here. He's probably jumping up and, please, yeah, remember me. Because there's not a lot he can do right now. And what he's saying is saying, oh, well, we can help out because we're used to dealing with drones. So we're willing to help we can send our experts to the Gulf states. But first of all, we want a ceasefire, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, whatever it is, we can do it if you help us out with a ceasefire with Russia. And it's just like, I don't think that's going to happen right now. I think people have their priorities, It's like, no.
Bigger fish to fry.
I think you need to come to the table.
Well, have you guys
going to the table? Go on.
Yeah, Viktor Orban this past week's been posting about Zelensky and what the Ukrainians and maybe it's the United Nations are trying to do, which is get them into a war. I'm gonna see if I can find the post.
Jeez, look at this dude on the screen.
They're trying to stronghold them. Go ahead, Lisa.
Viktor Orban, which is Hungary. They get a lot of their fuel from Russia. So and they have, they've opposed Ukraine joining NATO, and I think joining the EU. And you see, every time Zelensky kind of pops his head up, then it threatens Hungary's kind of independence, because they do get then, and Trump made an exception for Hungary because they've always got their fuel from Russia, But remember, Hungary is this country that said no to any illegal migration, and their people voted for it against the EU's wishes. The EU tried to strong arm them, and they didn't cave in, and they still haven't taken any illegal migrants, even though they're part of the EU, so they've kind of stood strong. And, I think they've got quite a good understanding of what's really going on, and this thing about open borders, and they're just going, no way. And we do want to preserve our culture. And I can't blame them for that.
Yeah. And he's blowing the whistle that, Europe is essentially going to EU is going to go into war with Russia, and he doesn't want to be dragged into it. Like Lisa's saying, they're trying to blockade the oil and get them pinned. financially into this. So he's calling it out right now. I sent you a post into the chat. He basically says Hungary cannot be blackmailed. And Trump is always praised about how he's a good man, but he's also a very tough man. And he doesn't put up with BS. And I think this is one of those moments where we're going to see that play out.
Yeah, we got a Viktor Orban one here, and let's see. Resume oil deliveries. Satellite images prove there is no technical obstacle to restarting the Friendship oil pipeline. I call on President Zelensky to immediately resume oil deliveries. Interesting. Let's see what he's got to say here. Orban Viktor. And I will, again, do the things here. We will make the satellite
Does anybody
images.
know?
Oh, go ahead, Lisa.
Do you not think he looks like? Do you not think he looks a little bit like David Icke? A little bit heavier than David Icke.
He sure does.
Yeah.
He sure does. And I always do that too, because I always see other people. I mean, I have it. I think, Lisa, I don't know. There must be, 20 or so general faces that you can have. You know what I mean? Then you mix in the different races to each face and whatnot. So. Yeah, that's why you got all these doppelgangers. But yeah, David Icke for sure. Let's see what he says. We will make the satellite images available so everyone can see them. We started the day this morning with a national security briefing. I received a detailed report on the attack against the Friendship oil pipeline and the condition of the pipeline. Based on the satellite images and operational information available to us, it is clear the Friendship oil pipeline is operational. We also established that the attack did not directly affect the pipeline. Therefore, there is no technical obstacle to restarting it. The relevant satellite images will be made public so that everyone can see them. Once again, we call on President Zelensky to restart the Friendship pipeline and, in order to close this dispute, to allow Hungarian and Slovak inspectors to enter. We will maintain our countermeasures for as long as the Ukrainians do not resume oil deliveries. What President Zelensky is doing is plain blackmail against Hungary. Sounds like it. But Hungary will not give in, and we will break this oil blockade. Very interesting. So Zelensky's playing games with oil? That's interesting. And I got this other one, too, where it looks like, guys, this is 6 hours
I wonder
ago.
where he's getting those ideas from. I just see Macron in the background sneaking over to, Steimer and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, well, Macron didn't. Yeah, he didn't make a statement on the U.S.-Israel attack on Iran, but he did make a statement that the French are going to increase their nuclear arsenal, and they are going to store the warheads, whatever you want to call it, in Britain and across Europe. And from now on, the French are not going to tell anybody, give anybody an account of their nuclear arsenal. That's what he said today. Just today. That's all he said. Yeah. Interesting that he should do it at this point in time, because there's something going on with the nuclear treaty. So he's going, oh, well, that's kind of, under the table now. So we can do this, and we need to strengthen our defenses. That's what he said today. So last July, Britain and France signed some kind of cooperation treaty, and that is going to be part of it. I think the French have something like 300 nuclear warheads, whatever. Britain has about 225. And, so remember President Trump was saying to them that they need to strengthen their defenses. And Britain has a lot of American air bases, and Iran just attacked, the Gulf states that have American air bases or bases for military operations. So, and Starmer eventually said that the US can use their US bases to defend against Iran, but originally he said they can't use them. which would include the Chagos Islands as well. But he relented. Yeah, just recently.
Very interesting. And also, let's see. I think we were going to put this up earlier.
And can I just say, do we, you know, what do you think about, you know, looking at what happened with Iran, as in there was this regime change and the people lost their freedom, lost their culture, kind of lost everything, you know, and something alien came in and took over. So is that not a kind of does that not come up on people's radar of how, you know, people were silenced? They used fear and all of that to control that country. Is that not kind of a bit of a red flag for like what's going on? You know, like in Britain where they're stopping free speech and all of that kind of thing, and politicians just doing whatever they feel like it, not acting for the people, you know, giving more services to non-citizens and illegal citizens. I don't know. I see a bit of a parallel. You know, it hasn't gone that far, but there is something going on there. Like it's a playbook that maybe we should all be watching out for, like every country, you know?
100%.
Because they put in a dictatorship and it came in and it was kind of snuck in through the back door, you know?
Yeah, I mean, just like we showed in that, you know, in that Confessions of an Economic Hitman, I mean, that is their model, right? They've been doing that since at least 1952, if once they admitted that, right, that we took out the Shah, or whatever of Iran back then in 52. But so here's my thing, Mac, is I look around and I see the last few years, oh, the Chinese just bought up this thing over here, and they just bought this, and oh, they just bought another thing near a military, and I'm like, wait, are they doing that to us now? Is that what's going on? And I am cautious of that for sure.
Well, what's the question now? If China's been building around us?
Well, like, you know, we have to work. Go ahead, finish it. Go ahead, finish it, Lisa.
Just you know, what happened in Iran, how the country was taken over. All I'm saying is there a parallel with what is happening in other countries? You know, they did it in a covert fashion. They weren't truthful about what they wanted to bring in and how they wanted to run things. And then all of a sudden, everybody had to change and everybody had to fall in line and people were silenced and they changed everything. But at the same time, you know, business was being done. And you know, is that something we should be watching out for? So like people bringing in communism, you know? Or losing sovereignty.
I see several things. One, the playbook, definitely keep an eye out for. I see different countries being able to handle their own corruption in different ways. Japan's been handling theirs. Iran's is out of control. It's a country ran by a religion, which I don't think there's any other country out there that does that. Where the Ayatollah was the second in command to Muhammad. That's pretty wild stuff. And they were killing, they were literally executing people for wanting freedom. So they're very evil. But I was going to talk about the leadership, the exchange hands in Iran, and I find that pretty interesting because we've been hearing about the crown prince, who his father used to be the king, I believe, of Iran.
Yes.
And there was an interview I just put down in the chat. It's the guy. He's an interesting guy. He's ex-CIA. John Kiriakou.
Yes.
John Kiriakou.
Oh.
and he says that he's got nothing but, if you want to play it, it's like 3 minutes long. Play the beginning of it, but he basically says that he's got CIA, Mossad all over him. And so I think, President Trump's well aware of this stuff. and I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. Go ahead.
There are. Unfortunately, there's a lot of different factions in Iran, and I think that potentially, I just wonder how it would play out. Somebody that hasn't lived there,
exactly, and that's what
it
he
was
brings
part
up.
of an old regime. I have no idea, and I'm just giving the other side to things. Let's have a look at it in 360, and it's like you've no idea how maybe there's been influence on that person, and I don't know. It's maybe that I just don't trust the like the CIA and all of that, the deep state, and living in a place where the enemy is within and surrounded by that. I've just got no idea how much that person would be molded in their image. Yes. I know what's presented, but I'd just be mindful.
Well, let's see what
that.
Mr. John's got to say here. He might be on. Yeah.
There's two people, and this guy is one of them. This guy and that other guy, Chase Hughes, I think. I could listen to these guys read ingredients off of like detergents. I could literally listen to these two guys read anything.
You got a bromance or something?
Yeah, I got a little crush on them. But no, it's just the way they talk. I don't know. Well, they're trained to be that way too, though.
Is the son of the Shah of Iran, who was thrown out of Iran in early 1979, February of 1979, came into exile briefly in the United States. That led to the Iran hostage crisis. Then we forced him out to the Bahamas, and then to Panama, and then to Egypt, and he died in Egypt. Reza Pahlavi is the son. He was a young guy when this happened. He was, a teenager. Well, now he's in his 60s, and he's never been to Iran since the 1970s. He's also something of a playboy in the Washington area. He's not a player in Iranian exile circles, but he seems to have a whole lot of money. Well, over the last couple of weeks, several things have happened. Number one, the Israeli government spilled the beans, and they admitted that they have been financing him. So is he a Mossad asset? You bet he's a Mossad asset. Mossad is saying it.
There we go.
Number two.
I think that's about enough as we need right there. I mean, if they're coming out and saying it too, and this guy doesn't come out and just spout a bunch of BS as well, but it also would kind of back up something else I'm about to show you as well. And I'm mislabeling my stuff.
Yeah, I think there's got to be some.
At least you're spot on.
Yeah, yes. I hadn't seen that, but for me, it was just my radar started going, and I was thinking, hold on a minute. So you've been in America and hanging around all of that time. How you living? How have you been living, and what connection do you have to Iran itself? It's another place, and they have their culture, and there's other people and other factions that probably don't agree with him, and definitely don't agree with him. That's all I was thinking, and just to be careful that he's not somebody that's been manufactured to throw in there at a time like this. How great would that be for the deep state to put in their man?
Exactly, exactamundo, and
I found it like a great time to bring this up because it's been brought up in the past, just like Lisa's bringing up. We're all talking about. They kind of force it on you, and then you kind of take a second. You go, well, hold on, who is this person? And you just take a look, and it's not everything that's all been portrayed to be.
Like this. Kind of like he was mentioning there. Let me see. Relabeling this image here, just so I don't keep dropping something that's not supposed to be dropped here. But yeah, then you got the the folks here in D.C. Oh, it's a pleasure to meet. Well, this is back then. This is a pleasure to meet His Royal Highness. But did you guys see this? They're saying, oh, we got a princess raised here. She kind of looks like what's her name there from OAN there. But yeah, I mean, he's doing the rounds or whatever. He's in DC, and if Mossad is saying that, yeah, we've been funding this guy, and he's not been there for years, it's just because his father. And then my question becomes, what relation is he to the guy that they took out in 52? Is there any relation to that guy? And that was, is that who they really want back in there? You know what I mean? Do they want the people from the 50s?
All I can think of is I'm sure people were saying it was a pleasure to meet Prince Andrew when he was Prince Andrew.
Yeah, true.
Royalty. Okay, yes, but does that make a difference to your substance? I doubt it very much.
Yeah, it's a tough proposition. Do you just say, oh well, he was the last family, they pushed him out, so he deserves to be back in? No, I mean, I don't think so. What about the people that have lived there since the 70s, have grew up there and are pushing stuff? So again, I can't tell you guys, what's going on over there as far as the different factions and who should be in charge, because I can't tell you what's going on in my neighbor's house. Yep.
Thing is, why don't they ask the people? Do you see what I mean?
Exactly.
So we're being told that this person should be running Iran, but for me, it's like, well, let's hear from the people. Let them vote. They know what's going on. More than anybody else.
Look at this.
I would think so.
I mean, Rez Pahlavi. In my own district, there are some Islamists that are pushing legislation to conduct not only Sharia law, but segregate buses. So women and men ride in separate buses in Brussels. And it's like, wait, what about Iran? And where are you living, right? Like, so are you talking about Iran? And what do you mean my own district? You talking about in Brussels? Are you talking about in Iran? Like, you don't live in Iran, so it can't be any of your district in Iran. So yeah, I mean, they have to be very careful and cautious, and it comes down to this again, Lisa, which is, how do we know, if we can take a poll, right? How do we know that poll will be accurate in just the way that this website right here, X, Twitter, YouTube, all the different social media sites, it's like they have these stupid algorithms that push, so we can never trust things. You know what I mean? So there must be a way we can do this. And hopefully so. Maybe a vote, like a vote election to see who will be going to the election.
Don't use Dominion.
Yeah, no. We're gonna bring ES and S
postal votes and have ID as well. And do some what do you call it, Mike? The quantum system, the quantum. Yeah, no, forget those.
UFS syntax language.
No. They did you played it as like a video, and it shows that, like, say the election workers. That's it. The election work. Yeah. Yes. Maybe that's what should happen.
I mean, they got other countries that they friggin' mark their hands with a marker. You know what I mean? And that's good enough. And I just could never wrap my head around the fact that, we got to spend hundreds of millions of dollars bringing these computers in so they can not have our results immediately like we've always historically had, and we now got to wait weeks, and then we can do mail-in ballots and stuff. So it never made sense to me how the hell we pay for people to defraud us, essentially, is what happened there. Let's see. I don't know that this would be doing it, but yeah, blockchain voting would be good. So Mac, due to your request, and if you guys have anything else that you guys want to drop on this Iranian thing for now, but I'm going to kind of go on a little different topic here. Mac had this, but go ahead.
I wanted just to bring up a couple things that might have been in the background, as associated with it. We always were kind of hinted at in the Q post. Uranium One, Obama taking all that money in cash. And so these are things that are always in the back of my mind when it's coming to Iran, not just the nuclear bombs, but the human trafficking obviously is very prevalent in Iran. So you wonder about the networks they've created. And was Iran also like a Venezuela and a laundering country where the corrupt go and they're able to get away with a lot of their criminality? And it seems like it, because they had a whole pirate oil fleet to traffic oil around the world. So it's there's a lot going on in the world that we may not know about.
Yeah, and I was playing this a little bit earlier as we were just kind of talking over it. It says, breaking, Iran's Navy just got wiped out 2 days ago. 11 Iranian warships ruling the Gulf of Oman. Today, 0, all sunk by U.S. forces. And so the same person that sent me that message almost 3.5 hours before, Trump put that video out also, and I quote, says... This is, they basically will have no more Navy whatsoever. They're not going to have anything. I'm trying to get you guys the actual quote here. Essentially,
well, it's interesting.
Go ahead, Lisa, because I can't find it yet.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's just interesting that was one of the. I'm sure that was one of the objectives, because their tactic was to attack oil tankers, and they were trying to get the Houthis in Yemen to help them. So it seems like the Houthis may have been neutralized, but also they've been neutralized in being able to stop the oil ships, tankers.
Exactly,
and also attack the American warships as well. They'll have a bit more trouble doing that.
Yeah, and they did. He actually, and I was asking him about casualties, and he said essentially, here's a video of Chinese tourists showing Chinese tourists in Tel Aviv capture footage of a U.S. military support ship being hit by an Iranian missile. So over here in the background, and the exact quote was, right here. They will not have a Navy nor any hardened facility when we're done. Not one truck, not one ship, not one missile. Regular IR forces are fracturing under separate commands, most standing down. They also have access to Soviet-era satellite weapons. Yes, we've had them up there for decades, he says. So, not going to have a Navy, not going to have a boat stinking left. And by accounts of the other posts we were just showing, that is also true, that they have just been taken out, essentially, of commission. 11 warships, gonzo. That's huge. And maybe they can have, won't be so tumultuous over there in the straits of whatever. The Hormuz Straits.
I seem to remember that the IRGC, is it the Iranian Republic Guard or whatever? Their base was hit. I think that was like a few hours ago.
IRGC.
I saw a video footage of that.
Right, let's see, because I have this one up. I know Mac wanted to pull up. It says breaking IRGC claims. No, that's old. Let's see. We got to go with the latest, of course. Iran misfired and hit the school isn't true. February track. See here, burning floating base. This is 3 minutes ago, so we're going very, very. This is saying so. I haven't had a chance to look over this stuff. Burning floating base of the IRGC Navy, the Makran, which is converted tanker, was hit in the waters of Bandar Abbas Naval Base in Iran. Cruise missiles BGM-109 Tomahawk struck the territory of the base itself. So interesting stuff. So again, guys, we're going to have to see how all this stuff plays out and what kind of information we're going to get from it as we go forward.
The IRGC said we will not allow oil to leave the region. Advisor to the commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and we will target any ship attempting to cross it. We will target the enemy's oil lines and will not allow oil to be exported from the region.
No more freebies. Right, let's pull a different topic up on here. I think people may be a little Iran'd out at the moment. Mac, this one's funny.
Cuba's next.
Yeah, you had this one set up for me to grab it, so I said, you know what, I'll just cut the part that you wanted out and I'll update it. I'll upload it to X here. So here we go. Let's pull this one up on full screen, and we got a couple clips of, sorry to do this to you folks, but yeah,
Were you ever denied access, or did you ever inquire on the topic of UAP or Gilgamesh in your official or personal capacity, and why?
I was never denied access because I never asked for access.
Okay. In the efforts of having a transparent government and restoring faith within our country, do you believe that the American people deserve access to those topics?
I do. Subject to any national security implications, I think the information should be made available. I think that's been ordered, or at least I read that it had been ordered.
And lastly, before I yield my time, Chairman Comer, do you believe that you were personally a target of an intelligence gathering operation specifically pertaining to Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein?
I have no reason to believe that. I don't have any information.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. I yield my time.
Gilgamesh, huh? Mac? Gilgamesh.
Well, remember,
she didn't want it.
She did the add-on thing. There had come up in a long time ago in a declassified file. What was it? The body of Gilgamesh, and was it Iraq? And there was actually a video on YouTube, maybe one or two, that claimed to be the body of Gilgamesh. It's actually an interesting.
I've got the video. I've got the video.
Yeah, I remember the eyes were like glowing, so I just.
I've got the video of Gilgamesh.
Yeah, so Lisa, pull that up if you.
Yeah, if you got it. I mean, but no, she was never looking for
DNA, and this is their obsession with the bloodlines and the DNA and the Nephilim, and I don't know what they're trying to do, recreate, resurrect or both. These old souls or whatever. I don't know. But it's pretty wild.
Oh, well.
So that was Representative Luna asking that question. I could recognize the voice.
I just sent the video. I just sent the video in.
Okay, all right, let's get to that in one second. It says, requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the location of his body, and the location of the buried Nephilim. What? Wait, hold on. Requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber. Okay, we got a chamber. The location of his body. Okay, his body. And the location of the buried Nephilim. Huh. And it's interesting. That is crazy. Requesting 2 letters derived from consulate in Mexico, certain person seeking entry into the United States. That is just interesting how there's like no comma LOL after it. Like, no, you're just looking for the buried Nephilim.
Notice how Hillary answered the question. She never was given, she never had to ask for information. She had other people ask for her.
Oh, yeah.
So that's so that's where the question was, not the right way of asking it. So.
Why did people that represented you ask for such information or something like that, right?
Yeah, I would have tried anything under the sun where it would have had her answer it, in some way, shape, or form.
See,
by the way, it's not the right. You can play that in the background, but it's not the right video that I've got. So that's just showing, they reckon that Titans, big people, they're turned into rock. And now what they reckon is that the Himalayan salt, which is like red rock, is like the flesh of the petrified.
I love this
flesh
stuff.
of giants. Yeah.
Now,
the thing is, I just want to ask everybody: can we get some kind of petition together to get the Smithsonian to give us the information that the American citizens paid for on the giants, please? No.
Oh my goodness! I'm trying to find an old link here for you. I remember going through a video of a guy. It was like a YouTube video. He was like some sort of a scientist, and he was showing the side of I think it was like the ocean, and the side of the ocean had the thing, and he was like, see this right here? Like this is all blood, and then he was like, this whole thing is this huge thing. Who's that guy? Do you
know exactly who you mean. Is it Russell? Has he got the name Russell in there? He's been on Joe Rogan, and he's like, he's a bit of a polymath. He's studied biology, geology, and all of these different things. And I think he does teach at a university, but he's huge now. But you're right. He looks at, he'll show you rocks, and he'll show you how their relation to biology. So you might get he'll show you, like, it might be red or whatever, and he'll be like, this was a dragon. You can see, here's the mouth, here's the heart, and all of this type of thing, and here's like the iron from the blood, and it's really, really, really interesting. But there's a theory out there that rock salt, Himalayan rock salt, may just be like petrified titans or something. So they say. I haven't really looked into it fully, but it's interesting when you see all of these types of pictures, and I think we've even got a few in the UK, but they're pretty interesting, and I really like to know because
they've definitely found artifacts that were large, giant, and then you're talking about like super giant, enormous, like mountains could be like the head of a giant almost.
Yeah, like huge.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've seen those. I did find a video of the Gilgamesh tomb if you want to play in the background without the volume.
Absolutely.
It's back. I think they discovered it in 2003, or it shows it on the video, I believe, once you play it.
I'm literally searching mountains are huge bodies right now because people probably don't. I don't know if they're figuring out what we're talking about, but it is actually very interesting. And I'll tell you what, guys, by next Monday, I will absolutely I will grab that for you guys as well, because there's so many things that they lied to us about and hidden, and a lot of this stuff is just, it's mind blowing. The things that some of these people show. Oh, I remember this, dude. I remember this. Yes. Post this here. Sorry, folks. 1 second here. Ding, ding.
It may need some of your editing skills and fast forwarding and stuff because it's
no problem.
Somewhat long. But the beginning kind of gives you an intro of where the video comes from. The very beginning, it'll give you a little text.
Oh, okay, nice. Do this then. Like that. April 29th, 2003, BBC News came with the following headline. All right, we can stop it here. And again, 2003, guys. Gilgamesh tomb believed found. Archaeologists in Iraq believe they may have found the lost tomb of King Gilgamesh, the subject of the oldest, quote, book in history. The Epic of Gilgamesh, written by a Middle Eastern scholar 2,500 years ago before the birth of Christ, commemorated the life of the ruler of the city of Uruk, from which Iraq gets his name. Interesting. So let's kind of scrubble along here. Shocking discovery in the FOIA releases of State Department emails confirm the claim. And, say if something like this didn't exist, would that claim even be able to be made? And we just read you guys this, right? Like if there was something like, I need the body of the 5-headed, demon, right? And it's like, no, none of that exists. Would that even make it onto here? That's one my question would be. The fact that they even said it, hey, looking for the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh and the buried Nephilim. It's like, yeah, sorry, we closed that somehow. Okay. As we see, was this all due to stuff in Iraq, the big war, and maybe we were actually going over there for this more than anything? Oh no, it was the oil. It was the oil. We wanted the oil over there, guys. And so as we kind of go along here, we got all this gold stuff, and you wonder, is that all real gold? Probably. Actually, if that's shiny, I don't think it should be, right?
That's Gilgamesh. That's the dead body of Gilgamesh right there, apparently.
And wasn't there something, I think, like Lisa was mentioning with the eyes earlier, or you were saying something about the glowing?
I did. I've seen another video. Maybe it's still in this where his eyes were like glowing, but I remember it being more purple. So maybe this is a little bit, his skin being a little bit purplish. So I don't know. It's extremely interesting. And the guy puts the documentation of the year and I think his license down and all the artifacts they found. So look it up on YouTube. It's there.
On the internet. It's got to be true. And I think this is maybe the purple part you're talking about, his legs.
No, it was actually in that video. But yeah.
What a specimen.
Right? It preserved very well. And then again, there's the video.
No decay.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then there's a clip she got asked about frazzle drip, and they had to take it off the record.
Did they really?
Yeah, so she got asked about Anthony Weiner, and they started getting a little bit of a tussle. I'll find it in the chat for
you. A little bit of a tussle, huh? Let's see. All right.
I listened to Bill. I listened to Bill's a lot of Bill Clinton's testimony today.
It's right there at the bottom.
28. It's about 28 minutes long, but he comes across as being very amenable and flexible and all of that, but he kind of came out with a similar statement that he did with Monica Lewinsky, and it was like, yeah, I'll tell you if I can remember, if I can remember. And he said that he didn't have any other relationship with Epstein except for the fact that he had this bee in his bonnet about, helping people with AIDS and some other disease or whatever. And Epstein wanted to donate some money and said that he would fly him and his Secret Service and whoever else to these different places. But he didn't mention that Epstein was instrumental in, or maybe he wasn't, I don't know, but he's supposedly instrumental in setting up the Clinton Global Health Initiative. But the way Bill Clinton explains it is that they had this idea of what they wanted to do, like a foundation, and then somebody that was the boyfriend of Ghislaine Maxwell, it was Larry Summers. Larry Summers called him up and said that you should meet this guy Epstein, who's just donated about $7 million, and he wants to talk about politics and economics, and that's kind of how he got in there. So he was introduced by Larry Summers. If you remember, I think Larry Summers was the Treasury Secretary at some point.
I got that clip we could play in a minute. So let's play this one from Hillary, and then I'll pull up that one that you were talking about from Larry Summers, and then another one from Bill here. Let's see the wonderful lies. I think they do a much better job at lying. They don't have to look away as much because they have no soul.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled insurance, life insurance, with a zip file titled frazzle?
This is the chairman's ruling. This is within the scope? Is this within the scope, Mr. Chairman?
If the chairman rules that it's not within the scope,
Mr. Chairman, based on what you said in the public hearing, is this within the scope?
We can go off the record for a moment.
Mr. Chairman, is this within the scope?
We'll go off the record and can talk.
Oh, okay. Hold on, Mac. You dropped this clip. What do you think? Why did they do that? What freaked them out? Was it the Epstein stuff? Like what specifically do you think got them all worked up right there?
The life insurance folder, and there's been a lot, and this is where it ties into maybe that guy Mike Feldman that is married to the Guthrie lady, because during this time they had a company that would scrub the internet of anything, and this could have been one of those things. Allegedly there was a life insurance folder on Anthony Weiner's laptop there was a file called Frazzle Drip. This video is on the dark web, apparently. I've never seen it. I've looked it up to try to confirm it. I have never gotten 100% confirmation, but there's reactions to the video.
Oh yeah.
And it's a terrible video to really talk about. Essentially, Hillary Clinton probably in all essence murders a child, and that's where so in that, while I watched that video, there's a passing of a note that goes from the lawyer on the right, our right, to Hillary. She looks down at it and it passes over to the other lawyer, and then that's when they jump in. But I think there's some validity to Anthony Weiner's laptop and what was on that life insurance folder, because we know that those police officers, there's about 12 of them that looked at that laptop folder, life insurance, and 11 out of the 12 are no longer with us, either death or suicide of some sort. So there is a lot going on with this, And then that's where Huma Abedin was also in that video, is apparently Frazzle Drip. So we're bringing this back up around. I don't know. This is going to get crazy. If it's true, this is some dark days ahead of us to see that. Or I don't think we'll see it, but verification of it.
Same thing to you, Lisa.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to thank Serafina for this, but with all of these people, hasn't the statute of limitations passed for criminal indictment? Unfortunately,
politics stuff, yeah.
Civil cases, maybe not, but criminal, I think it's like 10 years or something, and I think it's passed. And maybe that was the reason why it was held back. I'm not saying by the Trump administration, but over the years, and that's what they were doing. They were running the clock down, possibly. Yes, so that there's nothing anybody can do. Think about it. They're like, even if you found something, has the statutes of limitations run out? And I think the answer might be yes. So maybe no one's going to get charged. Because what we've got is a lot of people stepping down from their jobs and all of that regarding their relationship with Epstein, but we're not getting any charges. And is that the reason why? I'm just asking the question, is that the reason why the statute of limitations has it run out? Is that what they were doing? And then squirreled away the evidence, which would be the videos,
Yeah, I mean, they've talked about it in the past, too, trying to do that. Let's wait until Trump's out of here for sure. So we definitely, have
And the other thing I just thinking about, the Clintons have done this before, as Lisa's explained, that the Lewinsky scandal was a facade for what was really going on behind the scenes with the China deal and everything. And I believe some of that's crept over into the Epstein emails. I haven't been able to pinpoint it. I just saw a video on it, I believe, or some information that I'd have to verify. But I wonder.
Yeah, and what's his name? Is it Ari Ben Ash or something? He's an ex-CIA, and he does a video where he talks about Epstein and Maxwell running weapons. When they first started off, when they was trying to get in with everybody, that's what they were doing, apparently. And that's a guy from the CIA that says that. So he was involved in the Iran-Contra, right? So, and then we had Clinton and the connection with the Chinese and all of that, America being sold out, the enemy within. And we've got the Chinese connection to Iran, how different is a authoritarian regime to a communist regime? How much difference is there?
True, no. And let's see, it's funny, I had to kind of run around to grab this, but just to show you guys, show the folks here. And there's the report, and I don't think these pages match up exactly. I think it's one way or the other. It's a little far. Yeah, 291 is 320. Page 320 is page 291. 293, and here's exactly what we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Page 294 of the Inspector General's report in 2018. Coleman told us he regularly took notes in a journal. Coleman's notes from October 4th contain the following entry. 1. Anthony Weiner, SIC. 2. Unrelated. 3. Weiner, SIC. Texting 15-year-old. Sexually explicit. 9/26 or September of 26 or September 26th. Federal search warrant. iPhone, iPad, laptops. Initial analysis of laptop. Thousands emails. Hillary Clinton and Foundation. Crime against children. This is exactly what we're talking about, guys. And I don't know. I mean, statute of limitations on child abuse, I don't know. But Some of the other stuff, maybe not so much. I don't think they'll get away with all of that stuff for sure.
If their child crimes like there is connected to some sort of child ring trafficking operation, RICO, grand conspiracy, then that's just one way that it would still be a live case.
Yeah, well, and let's see what Slick Willie's got to say. I mean, he's like, I didn't have sexual relations with that woman. No, it's not the one, Bill. We're on a different one now, buddy. Let's see.
I hate this, but because I don't believe I should inject anything. But I do not want to leave the impression, but since there was no follow-up question, the president never, this is 20-something years ago, never said anything to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein either. He just didn't.
Oh.
That's the truth. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are. I hate this, but...
Oh my goodness. Who had that one on their bingo cards for today? I didn't.
I didn't.
And look at this. This is not a flex, bro. Thank you for confirmation that Trump is guilty. I mean, you got his air quotes enemy. And remember, again. President Trump called the Palm Beach chief of police in 2005 or 6, right? Mentioned in 2015, Bill, gonna have a lot of problems. You can ask Prince Andrew about that. I mean, absolutely crazy. Lisa, and I don't mean to bring up old stuff, and if we touched on it last week, I don't know if we did. Did we touch on that? How bananas the timing in between the horses driving through England and then arresting former Prince Andrew, what that was? I don't know if we covered that last Monday.
I don't think we got the chance to.
We didn't.
666 days.
I mean, I've covered this a couple times in the last week. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it and what it means as far as like, does Trump have control or do they not have control? And I'm like, this is over in your neck of the woods, Lisa. And I didn't think we always thought when we saw it, we're like, that was weird. And we covered it. We're like, what the hell is this? It looks like it's blood and it's, maybe some performance art. And then, well, wait, we find out that they're royal horses. And then I look at it now, like 666 days later, they butchered the royals. That's how I'm reading it. But I'd love to hear your guys' comments on it. But Lisa, go ahead first, please.
Oh, that looks like, where it is, it could be one of the King's Horse Guard horses, possibly. But
yes.
But apparently
they were.
I did cover this at the time. I'll have to have a look. I'll have to have a look at an old post. But what you said, I mean, it's there are no coincidences. 666 days.
Yahoo News. So, and yes, they were royal horses, and so I'll bring you up one of the articles on it. It says, blood-soaked royal horses escape and bolt through London. So I don't know exactly where. Panic, confusion, central London. 5 horses belonging to a regiment closely associated with the king, the household cavalry, threw their riders off and bolted through the city, smashing into cars, buses, knocking down pedestrians, and streaming with blood. So, said the horses bolted about 8:40 a.m. local time during a regular exercise and session. And I never looked at 8:40. I never looked up.
Hey, could it be is it the second of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse?
That's another thing I was thinking too.
I'm looking up stuff here, and I know it's like a biblical reference, and I was looking up some other things, but I think it might be that 4 horsemen.
8:40. Look at that.
Wasn't there already one that occurred as well some other time with Queen Elizabeth during COVID, maybe with a white horse?
My co-host yesterday said something as well. He couldn't remember it, but he goes, I think there was something with Elizabeth that had something with numerology, and we didn't really get to it, but somebody else had added on to that one as well. Do I have it here? But it was also Jeffrey Epstein, was 66 years and 6 months when he left or died in that prison, whatever you want to say as well. So that was interesting. But I thought that was interesting, 8:40 in the morning. Do you believe in coincidences? And then if you were to read this and look at this back then and say, oh, well, there's horses going through the thing. Okay, you believe in coincidences? Well, what coincidence? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Then as you kind of go forward to this, and then you're like, oh, 666 days later, coincidence? I mean, there's no way in hell that's a coincidence. I don't care what anybody tells me. So not going to happen. But Billy Boy's got some problems here, guys. This is... I think he's going to be going... They looked a little bit healthier, too, than I would have expected they looked. Do you guys remember hearing about their health in the last few months? About how they're like... He was carrying around oxygen and stuff like that. So I'm very surprised that they look as spry as they do. So I don't know if you guys have any comments on that, but let me move along to my other regularly scheduled
I found
programming.
the clip on X where Hillary loses her cool on Nancy Mace. If you want to play that one.
Oh, I would love to. I would love that. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy. This one, no. That's White Horse. Did you drop it down here, Mac?
It's above, and then I don't know. Lisa's pointed some stuff on there too.
Okay, this one.
Horse.
Yeah, we'll do that.
But the horseman stuff, I don't.
Let's see. This is great. I love anytime I want to hear Hillary yelling, and especially if it's not at me, I'm cool with it. No,
losing her cool.
Losing it. She don't have cool to lose. Let's see. Let's see what we got.
That's the question. I'm going to answer your.
I'm going to have you killed. That's what I'm. You know who you're talking to? You ever hear the Clinton body count?
That's the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent
You're
my
going to yell at
time
me.
doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other survivors trying to
and
protect
I
them
was
of it.
taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey
I
Epstein
have
for
an
money.
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to
I
raise
don't-
money for
I don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would
and,
let me
and,
finish.
and obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I
Epstein
didn't.
when
I
there was
didn't.
an intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to public. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look-
the job that you would not do and refuse to do as Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
No,
Congresswoman.
I'm going to finish answering the question, which I have a right to do. I am very sympathetic to your personal situation. I have read about it. I have seen you testify or speak on the floor about it. And I very much sympathize with not only what you went through, but appreciate your effort to stand up for survivors. I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11. Nobody lost more people than Howard Lutnick. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee. But I knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother.
Wow. And again, she brings in, and Nancy Mace brings in a name. We're talking about Lutnick here, guys. Lugnut. What do you guys think of Mr.
Lisa,
Lugnut?
here's your chance.
I think he's a slime ball, but personally, but
I think you're right. But Lisa, I know you've been looking up at
enemies
You ready?
closer.
Well, his sister Edie was one of the founding members of Terramar, which was Ghislaine Maxwell's shell company comeback. Yes, so she set it up obviously to balance out her profile because Epstein was convicted in like 2008, something like that. 2008, 2009. But his sister was one of the founding members, interestingly enough. And then, it turns out that he had a company, Epstein had a company. They both invested, I think it was called Adfin or something like that, in a company. It ended up folding anyway, But I don't know. I just wish that he had been truthful in the beginning. That's what I wish, because my brain just goes crazy. As soon as somebody starts lying, it's like, hold on a minute, stop the noise. And I have to look into it. So I've been doing some digging, and it's just like, I just wish he hadn't lied. I wish he hadn't lied.
Me too.
Just
what was the purpose of it? I wish that there's no reason for it. I agree. There was, and it all came out in the wash, and then it's now like people have got more questions, and Comer's going to bring them in, I think, for some questioning. I believe. So I don't know. It's an odd situation.
Yeah, and it kind of just doesn't come across as good optics when somebody's smiling and laughing when Trump's talking about Epstein, when you've done that. It's just, I don't know, it just spoilt it for me. It really did.
No, for sure.
Really did.
And I don't see anything, you hear the connections, right? She was with Hillary, with Epstein, and now you got Trump there. Oh my God, Trump's protecting all his people. Or is he bringing some of these slime balls in close to him that he knows are going to get rolled over? That's the question for you guys to, take a side on.
Trump
think
always
closer.
does. Yeah, he always does bring them close, at least, and so optics, so people can get familiar with the people that are implicated. It seems like it is definitely a strategy.
Well, people called out, Andrew Mountbatten for taking his children to meet a paedophile. Yeah. Somebody else took their children to meet a paedophile.
Really? This guy?
Well, he had dinner with him.
Oh, that's
Lutnick
right. With the
and
children.
his wife had dinner with the children. Yeah, for me, it doesn't matter. I just can't see how you would take children to meet a pedo.
Nope, no way.
Just there's no. I just don't see how that would be or should be done. Not that I'm here to tell anybody what to do, but I just can't. My brain can't get around it. Like, I just think, why would you do that? And why would you put your kids in the vicinity of somebody like that, even for lunch? You're rich enough, you're wealthy enough, you can do what you like, and you do that. That's my own personal opinion. Kids should be protected. That's it.
No,
There's a line.
You're right, Lisa. You're spot on. No, you're spot on, because and how stupid does he think everybody else is? Apparently, like right here it says earlier this month, CBS revealed more on their connection by reporting that Lutnick and Epstein signed a contract in 2012, 4 years after Epstein pleaded guilty to sex crimes. All right, before or after? Obviously, after is much worse. You knew what a guy was, but you signed a friggin' contract with this guy. The deal was dated just 5 days after Lutnick and his family visited Epstein on his private island. Lutnick signed on behalf of a limited liability company controlled by Cantor Fitzgerald, the investment firm where he served as CEO and where he was not at his building on 9/11, where everybody else, and quoting Hillary Clinton, including his brother, died. Lutnick's campus tried to minimize his involvement with Epstein through their shared investment Adfin. Spokesperson for the Commerce Department told CBS News Secretary Lutnick had limited interactions with Mr. Epstein in the presence of his wife and has never been accused of wrongdoing. And a source close to Lutnick told the network that Cantor was, quote, a small minority investor in the venture. This source added that at, quote, the time of this deal, doing the deal, as minority investor, Mr. Lutnick would not have any knowledge of who the other investors were. Okay. But clearly he had some sort of relationship with him. Is William, Adfin, and Epstein. I mean, right? Like, you would have to, instead of just outright lying on, I don't know who the guy is, like, oh, yeah, I think I maybe did some business. I may have signed something with this guy back
We
in,
had exchanged some emails.
yeah,
Leave it at
15
that.
years ago, maybe something with some shell corporate, or, some business venture. Yeah, there may have been something, 12, 13, 15 years ago. And, ever since this all came up, I went through my documents and yeah, apparently me and him went in on some business 15, 20 years ago, whatever it was. It was a long time ago. I don't really know the guy, personally. It was all business related and, no playing, no kids, no nothing, right? But no, I don't know the dude. Nope, I don't know him. And that sounds to me like we're just primed for, exposing him, because now people are like, clearly you just lied through your freaking teeth. So yeah, none of these people get a pass. Like I've said numerous times, none of these people get a pass at all. Period.
Yeah, same, absolute same.
Oh yeah.
Let me see.
I just comes to children. There's a big line, Just.
Oh yeah. Oh, in the interview, I'm part of the. I scrolled through part of Hillary's interview, but she's like talking about, I think, children, crimes against children and abuse, and she's like, for the longest time, that stuff was legal. I was just like, what? It's almost like she wants to justify it before saying it's bad, and that's a sign of guilt.
Obviously. Interesting. And this is something I was wondering from earlier from that video. And thank you, G Fonts dropped the $1 Rumble rant. It says gold does not tarnish like other metals such as silver. Okay, so that makes sense. If it was sealed in there or whatever, it wouldn't tarnish. Because I know silver certainly does. I thought gold does over time though.
Gold does not oxidize.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Fake gold. Fake gold turns colors. That's right. Thank you for that there, G-Fonts. Love the information. I did cover that other piece of information on the live stream the day after, if you didn't catch that. But yeah, and we're not going to play this. Mac or Lisa or both had mentioned it earlier, but President Bill Clinton says former Harvard President Larry Summers had introduced him to Epstein. Quote, he said he's got this massive airplane and lots of chicks on there. And I was like, cool, where are we going? And he said he would take you wherever you wanted to go. He knew I was planning to set up a global network to provide life-saving AIDS medicine, and where we could take the kids in the back of the plane and, do whatever we wanted.
Chris Tucker and Kevin Spacey were there.
and he very kindly supplied me with my own personal masseur,
Oh, God. I mean, when Summers said this, I thought, boy, this would be great. So we followed up and took the trips. So this is when, he's doing his Clinton initiative, and they're being the great people of the world, just like these folks here. You got Gates and Epstein and, who's that guy? I can't. That's, oh God.
Is that Reid Hoffman?
No, I know that dude's name too, and it's just going to kill me that I don't know. But anyway, great individuals like this guy who was giving drugs to his wife, secretively, we'll say it that way. And that's the other thing. How did he know his wife got it, or is it just going to be precautionary? Like, I got something, and make sure we'll just
because he got it. Because he got it, obviously. I mean, I'm disgusting. It's like
is the guy on the left have to do with Harvard, since there's that emblem there?
Is that Larry Summers? It must be. Maybe it's Larry Summers. I mean, maybe I'm that stupid and I don't even know that that's Larry Summers.
I don't know.
Here, let me see.
Maybe the chat can help us out.
Larry Summers. Yeah, it looks like no. Yeah, it could be Larry Summers. I think it is. Yep. So yeah, I mean, these people all have their connections. So many connections, and I can't wait till they're all exposed. Every last one of them. Huh? Could he be fatter back then? Maybe. I don't know.
I came across Epstein's hype video. It's crazy.
Hype video?
Yeah. It's it's crazy because he has like a large airplane, and they're like, why would he need one of that? It's crazy.
And Lisa, when was this from? Chat. I'll definitely take a peek on that. I'm going to show Lisa. Drop this because I think you brought it up because we were talking about the horses of the apocalypse.
Yeah. So that was like a decode I did probably in
like 22.
Oh, it's 2022. 2022. It was about it just came up with like biblical times, seven seals, four horsemen, and then also so the four horsemen. I think there's what is it like war? Where is it? War, famine, and something else. Two other things.
I see
One
pedo
second.
Satanists and traffickers down
Economic
here.
collapse is the second horseman. So economic collapse, and as I was saying, that's what the
Death, famine, war, and conquest. And what happened was, where is it? I can't read it.
I can't make heads or tails.
So something about if you read that last. The seals will be opened during the Great Tribulation and coincides with the arrival of the Antichrist as the first horseman, a global war, as the second horseman, an economic collapse, as the third horseman, and the general. Can you read that? I'm on that.
The third horseman.
General
die-off of 1/4 of the world's population as the fourth horseman, which is followed by a global dictatorship under the Antichrist and the rest of the plagues, pedos, Satanists, and traffickers. Lisa, you said something. You said June earlier when you were reading that at first. You said, I could have sworn you said the word June.
It was a delta for June the 13th, I think.
That's crazy. You know why? Because I just looked it up. I just looked it up really quick, and where is it? I just looked it up really quick, and I checked. What horses are which? Like the white horse is the first horse. Apparently, is what ChatGPT is telling me anyway. But you mentioned like the Apocalypse 4 Horsemen and June, and I'll probably get to it eventually. Is this it right here? Where is it? Going back. Come on, where'd you go? The four horsemen that we were just showing in the in that decode of Prince Andrew was actually in June. So I don't know if
was it. Oh wow.
Yeah, right here. Here we go. So if you look at the date and oh no, shit, it was April. My bad. What am I, a freaking idiot?
Okay.
Yeah, I am an idiot apparently. But let's see. Mac, you said you dropped the video down at the end there, buddy, and I don't know why I had it stuck in my head. 624. But it was 424 or
the horseman stuff. There's the seven seals, and there's stuff to go into this, but there's some definite symbolism. I think I just mentioned like the second was the meaning of the horse, but I could be wrong. And it's
dude, what is this?
Oh yeah, this is his hype video. This is crazy. VH1 posted this. If you play it, it's wild.
So, is this like one? It's almost like one of these lifestyles of the rich and famous type of thing. Let's see. Let's play it. VH1 902. So we're 2 hours 2 minutes in. Fair use. Oh my! Yeah, it was almost like a lifestyles of the rich and famous type of thing. Oh my god!
You don't have that voice. You can't do it.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous. I'm Robin Leach. Let's see. Yeah, and that's my question, Lisa. Why would a guy like this, like a personal dude, need this big plane for? I mean, it doesn't make sense unless you were sharing tail numbers with like military and stuff like that, and you could just come and go wherever you wanted all the time. Wink, wink.
Yeah, if you're carrying lots of cargo, and people.
Yeah, I mean, what couldn't you carry there, right? I mean, you could pretty much take whatever you wanted to take wherever you wanted to take it, and by all accounts, this guy had carte blanche to fly in and out wherever the hell he wanted, unmolested, unsearched. So, yeah, it's obviously not a good situation with all of that stuff. So I'm very interested to see how all this stuff plays out, but no slime balls get a pass on our account, and I think that's something everybody can agree with as well. No slime balls, no passes. Hot dogs. I tried to look at ChatGPT for hot dogs. No, I know. I'm reading the chat. Song Babe put hot dogs in the chat, and I'm like, I actually tried to search that the other day, and ChatGPT was telling me there's no proof Obama bought any hot dogs and flew any hot dogs in from Chicago. I'm like, really? I thought there was. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. But yeah, that was cute, right? Kevin Spacey.
I thought it came out in a FOIA.
Oh, probably. Chance to hang. But I think it was $60,000, hot dogs or something like that. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, this dude was connected. I mean, clearly connected. And then the question is, where is he really? Is he really dead? Is he hiding somewhere? What's the situation with this clown? Probably. I mean, you would have to think, right, guys? If it was you, like, say if you were some of these bad guys that you knew, there's possibility this guy has some tapes and some stuff on me. Wouldn't it be so much easier just to kill him in the prison than to remove him? I mean, you're talking a much more difficult operation to extract somebody than to just have somebody kill him or, bump into him and kill him.
Yeah, but, people have things like a dead switch or whatever, You never know how kind of cunning people are,
Yeah, and actually, this is something I'm glad I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, Mac or Lisa, and maybe you guys have seen it, maybe you haven't. In your perusing of any information of the Epstein files, have you guys come across what appears to look like a threat from Jeffrey Epstein in some of these emails talking about, like, if I go down, then I'm going to release this, almost talking about a dead man switch, but the dead man switch may have been something like a virus or something like that? Have you guys seen any of this? Because I saw it like 2 weeks ago in some email, and I'm like, that looks weird. So I don't know if you guys have seen that at all.
I have not, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Well,
the way they were posing, at least it was like COVID essentially. And if you kind of do the math of the timing, it's like,
Yeah, it was with Bill Gates. It was with Bill Gates, and it was regarding COVID-19. Because look at the connections. So first of all, Clinton Health Initiative. Yes, what were they doing? Giving out vaccines, giving out medicine, and all of that in Africa. Was it Bush had his PEPFAR or whatever regarding AIDS? Again, loads of money from the government in aid. Yes, and then the fact that he was into transhumanism, wanted to replace the human race with his own, his own sperm, so to speak.
Ugh.
So you'd have to get rid of a lot of people to do that, and COVID has done a good job. But he was discussing COVID with Bill Gates in those emails, without a doubt. It was COVID that they were discussing.
I'm gonna.
And then remember, there's a lot of money in it. It is there. Hold on.
No. I'm saying, I see that, and I see a few of these, and I'm looking through a few of exactly what you're talking about. But the ones that I was talking about was like, they were tailing in such a way, it was almost like, if I go down, I'm gonna release this stuff, like that type of. And it could have been a fake thing altogether. I don't know. Sometimes I'm looking at this stuff 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m.
They all collaborated essentially because they knew once Trump got in, everything was up. The gig was up. Yeah. So I think all the evil entities probably got together and colluded in all this, like we've all been talking about and suspecting. And this is in Epstein's one of the throughways to that, the middlemen.
Absolutely. All right, guys, and so it's 9:09. I got to be out the door at 9:30 because your boy didn't prepare himself any dinner. But that's going to give us still, a good 2.5-hour show. But
DoorDash.
Yeah, DoorDash. I would do DoorDash, but I'm cheap. I'm frugal. But I just can't see if I order something for $12, paying $22 for it, and then have to give a tip on top of it. Those are for those rich folks. I ain't that guy. So I still have a couple different links that we want to go through, but as of the end of every show, guys, I want to make sure we get anything out that you guys, if you had any hankering for things that you wanted to touch on. And did you guys see this at all too as well? So think about that as well. The shooting yesterday that we had in Texas. I don't know if they ever verified.
Yeah, did you not think? But did you not think that was? Is this the one in Austin, Texas?
Yeah.
So the guy had an Iranian T-shirt on, but he was from Senegal. Okay. I just don't know. It just came across as a little bit weird. Maybe it's my imagination running wild, but it just felt Like,
See what his shirt said too? Property of Allah. Just
Allah.
Like you have, property of the
It's just
Patriots.
like I don't know any Muslim that would wear anything.
Like
that
any
has-
labeled stuff.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, not like that. No way. No way. I really don't know anybody that I know. There's no way that they would wear anything like that. Really. Without a doubt.
Was he a legal immigrant?
So this is the name that we got, and this is what I did here. In Ndiaga Diagne. And so when I started looking through that, I found this guy, which has the same exact name, and this guy is, I don't know exactly where he's from, but DDR chief with the United Nations Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Mali, MINUSMA, last 20 years. So I don't know that this is, and I don't want to sit here and say, yes, this is the guy.
I don't think it's the same one.
Same exact name, though. That's, it's the same name as this guy. So again.
Yeah.
Again,
I just don't know, wearing that T-shirt, and there's a few other things that I read about it, and I was just like,
Don't know about that. Mr.
and just in time,
Yeah, right here. This guy committed suicide. That's his daughter talking about it, saying that it wasn't suicide, but he shows up in the Epstein files, so something to talk about real quick.
Interesting. All right, what do we got? Oh, a Chechen businessman and ex-senator Umar Zarbali found dead in apparent suicide. Well, let's see what his daughter has to say about that. Apparently, this is her. Is she speaking English? Let's see.
Everyone, so you know. Hey, y'all, I'm sharing this with everyone so you know. My dad didn't kill himself. I just learned my dad died. I'm gonna be emotional about it. I don't really like him very much, but still. He didn't kill himself right now. He got killed because he's linked to the Epstein files. Sorry, I look crazy. I was about to tell this. If I suddenly kill myself in the next year, no, in the next few months, it's not me. If suddenly, like, yes, I'm going through things and stuff, but I don't want to die. I want to live. I wanted for my abusers to die. So my dad's gone. So thank you, Vladimir Putin, for taking care of him. He didn't kill himself. And my mom is here, but hey, if she kills herself, salam. But yeah, so my dad's dead. Send me money if you want to help.
What the?
He didn't kill himself.
What the hell? My dad's dead. I didn't like him, but I'm still emotional. And then she talked about how she wanted to get her abusers back still. And thank you, Putin. Mac, I don't even know. I don't even know where to start to ask questions to you on this one. But anything you want to say, go for it. I mean,
It just it's wild statements, but apparently that's his daughter. And yeah, I don't know what at the end. I don't know what's relevant about any of that, but it's definitely it wasn't suicide. Given the timing of everything.
All I know is he went missing for a few days. Once his name was mentioned, he went missing, and then he's turned up dead.
And there was a younger guy who his girlfriend took like an Instagram photo of him, and he had like a tattoo on his chest. They were out like a warm tropical place on a boat, and he got abducted and held for ransom. And I think he ended up dying this past week.
Oh yeah, they killed him. Yep, they killed him.
Yeah, he had the panda eyes too, I believe.
Yeah, what was that dude's background? Was he Ukrainian?
I don't know what country, but I think it was like crypto. It had to do with crypto, possibly, or was that what they were asking for ransom? But that seemed really odd, and all the timing and stuff. So,
Indonesia, dude. Yeah, you don't play with that stuff. They took him in Indonesia apparently. So I think this is the same guy that you're talking about here. I did cover it the other day where they showed him at first like crying on the video. Yeah, this is him. This is the same dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were showing him and he's basically crying, going, "Yes, we're gonna give you all the money we took. Yes, we did bad things. We will give you all the money back." Well, apparently this guy's father is a Ukrainian mafia boss, and he was like, kill the kid. I don't care. or essentially allowed it to happen. And so they did find pieces of his body, I guess, along the ocean or along the side of the beach a couple days after said video had came out. Please help me. Otherwise, no mafias will be able to help, as I was already taken in another country. Please settle with these people. They will immediately let me go to the position in which they caught me. And the father said, I don't know, either ignored it or said no. But this dude is now resting in pieces, literally. So yeah, play stupid games with stupid people, and you win stupid prizes as well. Lots of bad stuff out there. All right, what else we got, guys? This is this one here. Oh, dude, there was the funniest thing I just saw. And I'm sure you guys have all seen it once as well. As what does this say here? Ali Khamenei just updated his profile pic, and let me see if I think it'll be much better for me to post it here. If I can post this picture or this thing here somebody sent to me, because I know you guys probably all saw the same thing. Just so funny. And I only have a picture of it, of course. Here we go. Give me 1 second, boys and girls. I think you'll find this one worth it. What do we always see happens when President Trump does anything? That's a little hint for you guys. A little hint. Here we go. I'm sorry. It's taking me a second because of the picture. Having to pull the thing up here and give permission. Here we go. All right, so let's get this one out of the way and get this one out of the way here. And I will show you guys this. Here we go. Come on. So just like, whenever President Trump does anything, any type of action, we always have what? Some pushback, fake news, or this just in, breaking, district judge overturns Khamenei's death. My buddy, Patriot Politics Research, sent that to me.
I did see that. I did see that one.
Right? I mean, think about it. It's like anything. Nah, he's not dead. We're going to overturn that. But, and we were getting reports early on, and people were saying essentially, Israel does this a lot. And so they'll come out and say that they killed somebody that they didn't, in the hopes that they poke their head up and then they can kill them then. But by all accounts, most of this IRGC leadership is toast as we speak here. So that's what it's looking like.
We haven't mentioned, Mike, did we talk about the disclosure that's coming up on the UFOs? Have we ever discussed that?
Not recently.
Guys, keep talking on for a couple of minutes, Lisa. I just got to hit the men's room really quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, it seems like, originally when you told me, and I was like, okay, we'll see how much they put out. But it does seem like they're serious. Radcliffe has come out. So Radcliffe, head of CIA or director of the CIA, he's come out and he's said he's seen material, and Anna Paulina Luna, is it? And who else? Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hesketh. So, now they've put it out there, I think they're going to have to follow through. So it does seem like they're pretty serious about putting the information out there. But we'll see how much they put out there, But I just thought that was interesting. Right, as time's moving on, it's just like, they're going to have to do it. They can't really leave it till the next administration. That would be not a good thing to do, and given that this is what a lot of people have wanted to see for so many years, and their calls for transparency and saying they're going to be transparent, I think it's going to be interesting when they put information on, are we alone in the universe, and answering that question. And then what I've noticed is that, there's a lot of people trying to, the Trump administration has said, they talk about doing lots of different things, and they're actually doing them. And the people that have been kind of making a living off kind of commandeering certain things. So Stephen Greer's come out and he's even written a speech for President Trump telling him what he should say. And I was like, oh, guys, come on. This is getting ridiculous. Stop doing this. They go on.
Well, I'm really like when you pay attention to the UFO stuff, you can't pay attention to like one source. So what's been really interesting is you follow the people telling the testimonies, and there's also been more disclosure of information that we're obviously about to get to through the Department of War. But this is, I think that what's going on in Iran and what happened in Venezuela, I think we didn't see it as citizens, but I think our enemies saw a lot of technology that occurred. So in order for us to combat the next, drones being a part of war and everything, we have to kind of show off our talents when it needs to happen. So these are also intimidating tactics by our military to stand people down from trying to test us, which is great. But the UFO is going to run deep. We have, in my opinion, there might have been a breakaway kind of civilization. I think we have a secret space program, definitely. The guy that's come back into the news that I've talked about, who broke into NASA, he just did another recent interview. And divulged, Gary McKinnon, and divulged more information. Yeah, and he divulged a little bit more information about the elements that he ran across in his Excel spreadsheets, which kind of tie into another person who talks about anti-gravity kind of technology and how they would do it. So these little tidbits of information are bearing more weight of truth as we're getting through this disclosure process. And I'm just curious on where it's going to take us, because it's not just one thing. There's many different elements that play into this, and it's not like aliens. There's humans. There's different people, factions, I think, doing stuff, and we just don't know what it all is quite yet. But we'll see.
Well, Ratcliffe, the director of the CIA, has talked about these beings being non-human. Yes, he's actually said it on television. And that's why I said I think they're actually going to do it, and possibly do it well, because he's taken it that far. Once you say something like that, you can't take it back. But he said it, and remember, he was I can't remember what he was before in the first Trump administration. So he's seen stuff, and he said that he can't talk about it and talk about it until the president declassifies the information. And then I don't know, we'd have to check it out, but there's a retired Major General, Neil McCasland, and he's supposedly connected to the UFO programs, and he's been reported missing. He was responsible for managing the Air Force's $2.2 billion science and technology program at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And he was mentioned in the 2016 WikiLeaks emails as an advisor to Tom DeLonge. Is that Blink 1, whatever it's called? Blink, what's it called? 182. I don't know. That's it. Regarding how to move forward with UFO disclosure. So...
And in my opinion, their problem was getting mixed up with that guy there you mentioned earlier. I think he's a gatekeeper. That's my personal opinion.
Tom DeLonge.
No. Well, he might be too, but the other guy there, you mentioned his name.
Oh, Greer.
Yeah.
Whatever, Greer. Yeah. Well, it was just so funny to listen to this interview, and he literally said, I've written something for President Trump, and it's like he's said that he's going to disclose it, and he's given orders to people as well, So what are you talking about? And he's like, my fellow Americans, I mean, literally, he's taking it that far. And I was just like, hand on my forehead and just head down, like, oh gosh, can we please stop doing this? Where somebody is like, they feel like they own the topic or own the subject, and so they want to get ahead of what's happening. So they then start telling President Trump what he should be doing. there's loads of influencers out there doing it, and it's just getting on my nerves now. You know, really just getting on my nerves. You know,
This is the guy that does
and
it
and
too.
they're stating what we call the bleeding obvious. You know, like, oh, come on. You know,
Lisa, he is the foremost authority on UFOs and ET intelligence and technology. I mean, his bio says it. Yeah, I mean, he's, in my opinion, he's a collector of, you know, what they'll do is they'll put out stuff kind of like we were showing, you know, stuff that you can't really see what the hell's going on or whatnot, but, you know, stuff like this, right? Anything that's like juicy and good, they're going to have people that, oh, we'll take a report, and they're going to swipe that stuff underneath the carpet, in my opinion. What has this guy came out and put out in the last 10 years or whatever? You're supposed to be so deep and you're the foremost on this. Like, where are all these disclosures? Yeah, he writes book. Cha-ching, book deals. Book deals, that's about it. Cha-ching. So we'll see how it comes out. I mean, they've certainly been prepping the public for it for decades, right? With all the movies and stuff, starting in what, the 40s, 50s or whatever. Long time they've been doing this stuff. So, I mean, who knows?
Oh, and he said, I think Ratcliffe said, I think it was Ratcliffe, said that the technology that they have, not that he said none of our allies have any of this technology, and not even America has anything to match it. Whoa.
That's crazy.
You know, I thought that was an important statement to make, you know?
Yeah, and then you wonder, like, you know, because you hear President Trump talk about the same, you know, in the same manner, essentially. Like, listen, in the United States, we got things that other countries don't even have. And then so you wonder, like, how is he able to kind of heal a lot of these countries from, you know, coming after us like rabid dogs? Because, you know, hey, we're being the gangster, like Lisa's video in the beginning there that she dropped. He's basically being a gangster to everybody, and nobody's like ganging up to say, oh, we're going to get together and we're going to stop these guys and do this. And so I wonder if he does have some technology that's above and beyond what all the other countries have at this point. Because we hear about hypersonic missiles and this, that, and the other, and China and Russia are much better than us.
Yeah, there are, and that there's those interviews I talked about the past few episodes. And then there's a guy named Chris Bledsoe. I'd look at him. He's been hired by the government, and he's had some unique personal experiences with an entity called the Lady. And he said that Egypt is going to have a huge disclosure this year that's going to change history. I'm sure it has, and I'm sure it has to do with what the pyramids probably, but it could be something else. Who knows? But there's definitely a conglomerative effort, and not just like, you know, the U.S. I think owning it all. So I hope that we are gonna have this. Like Lisa says, it's not going to drag on. That it, you know, it comes in chunks, but we're able to process it and get through this so we can figure it all out. You know, a lot of it, at least. I know they're not going to tell us at all, but being in the dark about a lot of this stuff is just crazy. It's lunacy.
Yeah. And we are in dark from a lot of things, like
even the Bible. You know, now they're bringing up the Enoch. You know, and it's like this all connects to like our heritage and our DNA and everything. So I'm curious.
Yeah, the and I gotta actually put it into the link into the chat so people can, because I want to hear your guys' comments on this. So I'm gonna drop it to you also, Mac and Lisa, and I don't know if you've already, you know, discussed it or whatever. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, so I'm gonna drop it to you. My buddy posted it up on X last week, but it basically talks about what they call, and I'm gonna be listening to it later on for like the third time now. It's about 20-25 minutes, but the references that are in it, it's basically talks about pre-Nicene Christianity, and essentially what this video talks about is essentially says that, you know, when they said Jesus was born in the manger as a baby, that's not really true. He came down fully grown as a man. And so there's different things, and it talks about like the differences between the Old Testament God and the New Testament God. And it also kind of separates that whole little small hat country of, you know, having to give them the ability to keep their eyes closed and say whatever they want and do whatever they want because they're God's chosen people. Like that whole argument's out the window as well. So I don't know if Mac or Lisa, have any of you guys seen any stuff about that before? It's new to me.
I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it.
Well, I've looked into it a lot. It kind of interests me. But I'm going to send you something in a second. I got it from another channel. You can give them a shout out. 1 second. This is interesting. Based on what you just said, I'm not going to say anything. just listen to it. I think it's a very short video.
Yeah, right.
All right, there's no way you've seen this in the Bible. Check
What was
this.
that? Yeah, sorry, that was me.
All right, there's no.
It's one. It's no.
No, you're good. You're good. We'll play it here.
No, it's just 1 minute and 7 seconds.
Coincidence?
All right, there's no way you've seen this in the Bible. Check this out.
Very first words in Genesis, Bereshit in Hebrew. The last letter, Bereshit, is Tav. Okay, now Tav is the first letter in Torah. If you go every 50 letters in the book of Genesis, you will get the spelling of Torah. Every 50 letters. If you go to Exodus, if you go every 50 letters, you get the spelling of Torah. If you skip Leviticus and go to Numbers, you go every 49 letters and you get Torah spelled backwards. And if you go to Deuteronomy, every 49 letters, you get Torah spelled backwards. Why? They're both pointing to Leviticus. In Leviticus, every 7 letters, you will get the spelling of Yahweh. YHVH. Every 7 letters throughout the entire book of Leviticus, because Leviticus shows it would take the sacrifice of the perfect Lamb of God, Jesus Christ, to atone our sins. I mean, that's amazing.
Did you know that?
Interesting. And that's another thing within that, Lisa. You see how we talked about Yahweh in this. So talk about the Old Testament versus the New Testament in that video that I dropped you guys, and I definitely would love to hear your guys' comments, once you've watched it. They're basically saying that the Yahweh would be like the evil God, and then the new God, the one that says like turn your cheek and love your enemy and pray for your enemy, is a different God. So you guys just have to watch it yourself, and all you folks in the chat. Please
okay.
Send me something.
I've heard of it.
Well, what's interesting is, you said that the video talks about Jesus came down as an adult or whatever.
Yes.
But other theories say that he disappeared for like a number of years, from about 12 or 13 to the age of 30. But during that time, if you look at the books that aren't in the Bible, it actually tells you that one of the places that he went to, aside from Tibet, India, he went to, guess where? Iran.
Oh.
And the time that he was traveling around, he was spending time with the Zoroastrians, who, like their belief in resurrection. They believe in one God, but they believe that resurrection is about being not reborn, but you don't actually die, because they deal with consciousness, and they call it Christ consciousness. And they say that, I don't think that they believe that Jesus's last name was Christ, because Christ consciousness was something that he was trying to teach to the people, and to teach the people that you are one, as in you are unified, but you are unified with God. Yes? So there's all that, God is within you and all of that, and to look inside. And what was the other thing? That you don't, your consciousness doesn't die, so the soul doesn't die. And that, anyway, they go into a lot of detail, and I find it very, very interesting, because I was watching something else and reading about something else where, they rewrote the Bible and also took out a lot of information, and they took out a lot of books as well. But they also kind of, Council of Nicaea or Nicaea or whatever you want to call it, they decided what books would go in the Bible. And we know that they've always hidden things from us. So they took things out of the Bible, you know? And if you look at all of the different religions and the fact that, you know, who is it? Chris Hughes. Is there somebody called Chris Hughes? Did you mention him before? Special?
Chase, maybe?
Chase Hughes or something. I can't remember. Somebody Hughes, anyway. So he talks about this, and he's studied a lot of like old texts from everywhere. And he was saying that like the one common denominator is that people describe things in a different way, but they're trying to describe the indescribable. But, you know, there's this thing about the greatest lie ever told is that we're attached to like the ego and loss, and fear is an illusion that keeps you asleep, and fear breeds ego, you know. And love isn't, when they're talking about love, they're not talking about romantic love. It's about alignment and basically alignment with God, but the God that is inside of you. Because one of the reasons that they kind of present it in a different way is so that we don't know ourselves. So in other words, if you think that you're an apple tree, then you'll always want to be an apple tree, and there'll always be this little friction because you can't be anything different. You know, like there's a I can't explain it, but I had it earlier. But you know, I can't. Anyway, I'm not going to try and you know what you think is what you become. So if you think that you're an apple tree because all of your environment and you know your programming has told you you're an apple tree, you'll only ever be an apple tree. But we are destined for much more than that. And you know, I liked it when it said, you know, like an ordinary person, you know, just thinks that they're an apple tree, and it's like, no, that ordinary person can make a difference. And throughout history, that has shown us, you know. But most of the time, we are stuck with our ego because our ego is telling us what we're like. And so people don't go past that. So, you know, there's much more that you can achieve. And really and truthfully, you need to let go of the ego. And the ego is telling you, like, for example, you just did it, Space Shot. You stopped doing your job and you did something that you liked. Yes, but you didn't have fear. You weren't, you know, like if somebody else was talking to you, they'd be like, well, you know, you should keep your job because these are the things, 2.4 children and all of that kind of thing. This is what you should do with your life. So it keeps us there. You know, we don't move. Yes. And that is fear. That is fear. You know, so people don't believe that they can do something, you know, they can do something more or be more, you know, do more. And, you know, I've seen just even online, I've met some people and they've done some amazing things, you know, and they're just ordinary people, but they've done some amazing things. And the you know, the amount of effort and energy that they put in is, I don't know, it's like superhuman almost, you know? So we're just capable of a lot more, and we are not really in touch with ourselves because we don't know ourselves, you know. But all I'm trying to say is that, you know, the theory is, and it seems to go throughout different religions when they talk about Jesus, is that he went and spent time at the mystery schools, but it was in it to enable him to show what could be done as a human and also understand what it is to be human, something like that. Anyway, it's there's too much detail, but but the thing is, it is, you know, we grow up and we are taught fear. So, you know, somebody doesn't like change or whatever, but if you're to really flourish or maximize your potential, then you just got to lose the fear, you know.
Can't live in the
fear of losing your job. Yeah, absolutely.
I pulled up that
That's one
video,
of the
Lisa.
ways that they get us. Sorry, did you get it?
I pulled up that video that you're talking. I mean, we're not going to play it because it's 38 minutes, but the video that you're talking about Chase Hughes here, he said the first truth, the one the ancient world tried their absolute hardest to communicate to us, and it's also the one that we've gone the farthest away from, is that you are not separate. You never were, and you never could be. So he talks about all these different 5 key messages in this video, and I'll drop this for folks out there. And essentially he's saying, like, you were never alone, you were never separate, and like you look at that tree or that person like it's a different thing, but you're actually looking at yourself. You are the divine looking out through human eyes temporarily. You're not the world is in you. And like, does that sound like, sounds like kind of like the Bible was talking about, right? Like the kingdom of God is within you type of stuff. And so he goes through the other ones. And then at the end, he talks about all the 5 of them together or whatever. But very interesting. And like, this guy, I told you guys before, I could listen to this guy friggin' read, ingredients off of something for an hour. I just like the way the dude talks. And I guess he was trained to be that way. So I'll drop that link for folks. But it's a 38-minute video, but I would highly recommend it. And I actually shared it a few times out last week myself, Lisa, to some folks. So dropping that YouTube link in the chat.
It's worth listening to, and it kind of correlates with, when people talk about like the Great Awakening. It's like, look, for me, this is more what it's about. It's about getting to the truth. And I think with you've got to start with yourself. And he says something like, which I thoroughly like agree with. It's like the brain is not a camera. The brain is a projector. So what you think is what you will be. Bruce Lee says it. Bruce Lee said, you know what? You better be careful because your body doesn't understand sarcasm. And what he means is that, like if you think yourself to be ill, then your body will, you're sending a signal to your body. You see what I mean? If you think yourself not to be, to be well, or think that your body can heal itself, because these are things that are alluded to in the Bible with Jesus Christ's life, the philosophy that he was trying to teach. He was trying to say that God is within you. So it's not, it's not just me that has these powers or whatever. People have healed themselves. I've done it, but it was down to what I thought was very important. And I had to ignore everything else, everything I was being told. You're going to die and all of this kind of thing. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I was really stubborn with it, to get over like an autoimmune disease. And I did it myself. And I did it without like pharmaceuticals. But if you think about, I'm just thinking about the analogy of Jesus Christ healing people and all of that. He used energy, you know what I mean? And all different things. And it's just like, it's a different way of, it's like applying it to life in the real and in the now. But we haven't been taught that. We've been taught the opposite. We've been taught that you're disconnected. You need somebody else to connect. You need a priest, or you need this person or that person to connect. And it's like, no, you don't,
2 or more in my name, there I am. 2 or more meet in my name, there I am. And Lisa, I do love this part of the talk, but I do unfortunately have to wrap up the show. Maybe we could start off next week and talking about it, because not only what you were just saying about, if I keep thinking I'm never going to get, believe me, guys, I've talked with Mac and Lisa and a few other people that are listening in now about my ex-marriage there. And that was one of the things, is that, if I get a headache, which thankfully I haven't had one in so long, I need to hydrate myself or whatever. Well, we'll just say there's a certain ex-family member that would say, I got a headache. I think it's probably brain cancer. Like immediately go into the worst case scenario on everything. And then something that one person would heal, like normally you would heal, I hurt my ankle and, it would be 2 weeks normally. Well, this person would be 2 months because it's never going to get better. It's never going to get better. And you keep drilling that into your own head, how you're never going to get better. And guess what? it takes you longer to get better from that thing. And I've seen that so many times on exhibit, so many times. So don't mean to kind of bring that stuff up, but it's true.
Yeah, but your brain's sending that signal to the body, and you don't have to even say it. You just have to think it, you know.
Yeah. What's that in the Bible
So
too? It
maybe
says
stop
don't let those
thinking
bad words,
yourself.
don't let the bad
Yeah.
words, like, don't think of bad things. But also I think they say don't even think about bad things, but the act of actually saying them is even worse, right? Like to mouth, oh, I'm never going to get better, or whatever the case may be. Whatever you think you are, what's that old saying, right? Whether you think you're right or you're wrong, you're right, right? It's like, whether you think you're right or you're wrong, you're right. So,
And people are capable, just one thing, people are capable of much more than what they think. And the reason that they don't do it is because they don't try, and because they've got that fear. And society has molded people, MK Ultra'd them into that fear, so that society can mold you how society wants you, you know? And they just want us as like bottom feeders, or see us like that. And it's because they keep the enslavement is in the mind. That's what I think, you know? The enslavement is in the mind. You're never alone. I don't know how people get bored. There's so much to do, even if you just sat there. I never get bored. That's one thing I don't do. Don't know the last time I was bored. But,
I mean, here's a perfect example, Lisa, to what you're saying about people not being able to do things. It's like, well, they could never run a 4-hour mile, whatever it was, 4-minute mile, right? And then when Roger Bannister did it in '54, well, then, oh my God, a whole bunch of crapload of people did it shortly thereafter or years thereafter, but they thought it would never happen, and people's bodies couldn't do it. So things like that, like Lisa said, we are definitely more powerful than we know. Mr. Mac, are you awake over there still? I want to get your final thoughts too, buddy. Is Mac gone?
I'm here. Did we talk about how MK Ultra is going to be a point of contention coming up?
We did not, but we definitely will for sure.
I think Representative Luna said that they're going to probably do it in their next task force hearing. Is talk about MK Ultra, and I've seen a lot, like the Operation Artichoke was the beginning of MK Ultra, and it also had to do with vaccines and putting drugs in vaccines that would control people, or have an effect of controlling people. So,
which we've got now, graphene oxide and all of these kind of things. And that's another thing that Epstein was into, transhumanism, but he was into doing it with drugs, not like some mechanical arm, It was Edward Heath, the ex-prime minister of the UK, who had a mechanical arm that he used to use to abuse children. And he became the prime minister, and he was deputy to Maggie Thatcher. And they all kept him around, and they all knew exactly what he was doing. He used a mechanical arm to abuse children. That's how we are in Britain, and that's the kind of thing that we just ignore, or that's allowed. They all knew about it. All knew about it.
Yeah, and we'll see. This is funny. Excuse me. It says, wait, one back. It's funny. MK Ultra was, a secret illegal operation from '53 to current day, aimed at developing mind control techniques and truth serums for interrogation during Cold War. It involved unethical human experiments. You had people, smoking marijuana, LSD, other types of drugs that would absolutely just cook you, essentially. Oh, how you feeling now? And so, yeah, all sorts of nasty experiments that they did on folks.
The hippie movement was MK Ultra. It was.
Yeah, it was. It was 100%.
The Grateful Dead, like they, one of the band members would traffic or sell apparently really potent LSD that he got through, I think, the CIA. I think that's the alleged story. Yeah. But it was it's huge. And then they also incorporated it into television. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, I was going to say, when this information does come out, it'd be, take a step back and think about how sophisticated that has become. And do you really believe that they got rid of it? No, it's just become much more sophisticated. So everything, you know, a lot of things can be termed MK Ultra. I say the idiot box, like television. You know, we know about all the fake news, the fake narratives, and all of that kind of thing. But it's also society has been organized like that. Yes. Look at how they've been they mess with minorities, and you know, look at how they push like Antifa. You know, but so they make people into victims. And then also those people, once they think they're a victim, it's like they'll always be a victim, and therefore, you know, they just take up the victim position, and that's exactly where they want you, because it's easier. You're easier to manipulate. You know, they play on people's emotions. There's all kinds of things that I would call MK Ultra. It's just much more sophisticated. And Mike, you sent that video, and I know all about it. You know, LifeLog is Facebook, and it's like, well, the fact is, LifeLog was set up so that you would give them all of your information. Now you're giving all your information to AI. Oh, my birthday is this day, and I live here, and I want to write a letter too, and can you write this letter for me? It's like, great, you're just giving them all of your information. And by the way, people are now... Yeah, absolutely. But they'll just get that from the hospital once the medical service give all the data over to a data center, and they'll use task software which puts all the data together. You know.
Good stuff, guys. I gotta get out the door, guys. I apologize, but I really gotta get going. I gotta thank some folks over here, though. Of course, Big Hair Tsunami on D Live and Crow Deck and P Dancer. I apologize, guys. I gotta get my butt out the door. I got 9 minutes to get to the store, so apologize for that. I'm heading over to thepill.net, where Good Dog gifted a can. Appreciate that, and thank you to Sean Joe for a cookie, followed by another cookie. Thank you, brother. And then Jucani with the shades says, God bless. And there was one over here on D Live that said, I want to hear more from Mac from K-Ray. Just letting you know there. Let's see. And then Jucani with the shades, God bless. I think I read that, but thank you again. One Thunder with the can. Thank you very much for that. And Sean Joe with another cookie, Space Squad member. And then Good Dog 45 with the shades. And again, thank you very much for those. I'm releasing those scratchings. Mr. Mac, any parting words for the folks out the door, sir?
Oh, just another great show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm glad we almost went 3 hours. So another long-filled, info-filled show. Looking forward to next week. And please give a thumbs up until next week.
One of you jerks who's probably not in the chat anymore gave us a thumbs down. It's one of those hit-and-run situations. Miss Lisa.
Oh, just like see what plays out in the next week or so, you know? And that's it. I think I've said enough. I'm all talked out.
I think it's going to get, it's remember, it's not just going to settle down, guys. It's going to get more wild before it settles for sure. So thank you to the mods. I know Miss Wheezy was going to get herself checked out. I think she's doing a little bit better, but she's getting a scan today. So prayers up for Wheezy out there, guys. And always appreciate the mods' help for Mac and Lisa. We do appreciate that. And for you guys, we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots for tuning in out there. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Hello, guys. Something special is happening in here. That's right. It's brackets and jackets. Bringing it back for brackets and jackets. Special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see, this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh, boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right, Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jackets Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. And red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens of Ireland.